What is going on, everybody? It is episode 578 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett, and I am here once again with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. I'm feeling like the world is getting crazier.
Really?
Is it getting crazier out there?
No, today's a slow news day. It's the opposite of that today. It's just a bunch of P. Diddy updates that didn't really matter, that we didn't even need to talk about. It's a slow news day.
Well, thankfully, no more Diddy updates, at least just today.
Yeah. I would like to know what type of Diddy merch you'd like us to make.
And what would be extremely offensive and insensitive.
Like, because we were talking about it. Phil is with us today.
Hi, everybody. My name is Phil Labonte. I'm the lead singer of the heavy metal band All the Remains.
Tim was talking about when they made where they wanted to make Bloodbath merch, and like we don't have like a Trump in this space who makes for great merch.
There's
all the time.
Lovable pop culture everyman who says crazy stuff.
I mean, not that I would find super interesting. Chat, let us know who would be that person in this space.
I can't think of
who that would be. But yeah, it's a slow day. It's a chill day. We're gonna have a lot of fun. It's not nothing too serious. We are going to be getting into the Andrew Huberman cheating scandal because there was like a gazillion word essay written about this guy because he had the temerity to date 5 women at once. Naughty, naughty, naughty. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the reasons why would it be that the mainstream media would want to take down this gentleman.
There are only 24 hours in a single day. So if he is dating 5 women at once, that means that I don't believe that any of them could have really thought that it was that serious in the first place, because you just don't have that much time.
We'll get into the details. I think a couple of them might have had grounds to think that it was serious. But...
He's like, with my supplements, you too can date 5 women at the same time.
And on top of that, hosting this big podcast and being this PhD neuroscientist.
5 million subscribers.
Bro was barely sleeping. It's crazy.
Look,
it's honestly
man,
kind of impressive.
I got a dog, and I'm like, man, where the hell do I go? Like, how much time do I have? I got to get home.
It's like, crazy. So, you can tell that he really optimized his lifestyle with all of this lifestyle advice that he gives men.
He's like got to hook up with like Tom Bailu, and Tom Bailu's thinking like, hey, get the AI in there, and here's how you got to go ahead and so be efficient.
I just look at him. He's like Lex Friedman if Lex Friedman like had game. Right?
How do you know Lex Friedman doesn't have gang?
I mean, maybe he does. I have no idea.
Well, they're going to do the expose on him next.
No, they won't. He's establishment approved. He's establishment approved.
Sure?
They'll leave him alone.
What about Huberman is so threatening anyway?
I have no idea. There's a $20 one right there.
Corey Anderson said Mary Morgan of the East Maryland Morgans, queen of the crisis actors, dictator for life, defender of mocha and enjoyer of zins. When will the first phase of stand back and stand by end? We are ready to move into phase 2.
That's ominous.
That is ominous. Mary, whatever you do, don't give the word.
I will not give the word. Stand back and stand by.
Okay.
Continue standing back
in a holding
and standing
pattern.
by.
So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about a new movie that came out last weekend called Late Night with the Devil, which has a huge scandal around it, as much as you can call a bunch of art nerds complaining on Twitter a scandal. Dweebs. Arguing about AI art that was used in this movie, and they're like, we're going to boycott the film! And then like people are like, bro, you make up like 2% of the population. Nobody cares. And the movie did fairly well at the box office. It set records for the company that made it, but they're mad because they included a couple of AI images in it that were done a couple of years ago. We're also going to look at some most recent updates from Sora, which are very, very interesting. Some more videos have come out. It really does feel like, in certain respects, there's a ticking clock on certain aspects of Hollywood. So we'll get into that. We are also going to talk about crazy plane lady Tiffany Gomez talking on Twitter about how she was stalked by the mainstream media. And then, but between that and all of the prison pen letters she's getting,
Imagine,
she's not in prison. Where is she getting
you're not even a criminal. The prisoners are writing to you.
Yes, it's the opposite.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did they even see the video? It's crazy.
I like that. Well, maybe it was like on like one of the TVs in the.
It must have been the moment they all fell in love with her.
What country are all the prisoners from? Because if they're talking about like Europe, if they're coming from Europe, they get TV and they get like
she
hotels.
showed one from the U.S.
Oh, okay.
There's a $20 one there from Cody Bedreau. Do you want to read it?
I don't see it here.
Cody Bedreau.
Okay, no. Do you want to read it?
What Cody? Cody says, my sister and I just want to say we love this show. And he says, while we cuddle on the couch.
Yeah.
Cody, I don't think you should be doing that. But
Yeah, it's not appropriate.
Okay, so here's a question for you. So Andrew in the chat linked me yesterday to like this old picture of Lana Del Rey kissing her sister.
I didn't even know she had a sister.
Somebody said it was the site was satire and fake news. I have no idea.
It sounds fake. I feel like we would have heard about that by now, right?
But when and somebody else said the photo was 11 years old and it wasn't recent.
Wait, wasn't some other celebrity was like kissing her brother on a red carpet?
Okay.
It was like,
I mean, Angelina Jolie did that.
Was it her?
Back in the day.
Yeah. That's like, how? Why?
I love that
And everyone just forgot about it?
They have the nerve to talk down to Middle America, and then they're like banjo music intensifies.
Right.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's a little bit sus.
Hypocritical.
A little bit sus. So we're gonna talk about all that. We got a bunch of other stuff to get into, but before we do that, guys, would you hit the like button on this video and subscribe to this channel if you have not subscribed here already? We are past 107,000 subscribers, so thank you very much for that. Remember to share the video with your friends.
Just in case you didn't know, we got like 66% of a crisis party already.
Yes. Oh, and I'm gonna
Nice.
double check today. Just to
Look
make
at that.
sure.
Brett
We're
making
good.
sure that the crisis party sound
it was
is
good.
on.
Yeah, yesterday I was behind on it. So we're getting close, guys. And yeah, and remember, all Super Chats, $20 and over. Perhaps you don't have to phrase things the way Cody did there. But if you have questions, comments, concerns, things you'd like to ask, we will interrupt the discussion. We will read those Super Chats right then and there. And then we will do our very best to get back on topic. So if you guys are ready, we will just get right into it. Are you ready, Mary?
I don't have my Stanley Cup today, but I'll try.
I was actually looking at your can, and it's like her hand looks so empty without the giant adult sippy cup.
This is like 1/10 of the size of my Stanley.
What are you supposed to do? Phil, you ready?
Let's go.
Let's go ahead and get started then, shall we? First things first, big news coming out from Elon Musk. Is it SpaceX? No. Is it Tesla? No. Is it X? No. Elon Musk unfollows Grimes after she appears to announce a new boyfriend.
I don't think that actually came from him.
You don't think so?
No?
Well, I mean, the tweet did. I think that the whole big news thing, everyone else is making it big news.
She basically soft launched her new mans on Instagram.
Mans.
Yeah, her new mans, and captioned the post "Beauty and the Beast."
I'm guessing she's the beast?
I guess.
I did think his tweet about it was funny, though, very concerning.
What did he say?
He said very concerning or something like that. Something very
Really?
yeah, it was something like very concerning or
Okay.
Yeah, it was.
It'd be better if you said
wasn't
something
like
that made no sense, like many such cases.
No, it was definitely not that, but I'm pretty sure it was very concerning. So yeah, I mean, look, people are gonna make it like, oh, Elon Musk is butthurt or whatever, and maybe there's a little bit of that but they have a kid together, so it's not like he's going to be completely and totally removed from her life.
See, here's the thing. I think it makes him look more human by doing this. It makes him look like less of a robot.
I just think if you like your baby mama so much, why don't you just marry her?
That's what he should have done.
That's a good idea, I think.
Well, he's got like 100 baby mamas, though.
I think Grimes is the only one, at least besides his first wife, whom he had natural conception with.
It would actually be really funny if
that's
the
weird.
only people he followed on social media were his baby mamas.
That would be hilarious, actually.
How many are there? I mean, there's probably more than Huberman's harem.
Yes, that's absolutely true. Actually, you know what? We should move something up the podium. Then we should talk about Arnie.
Speaking of which,
this
is sad.
This was the saddest thing I've ever read.
It sucks.
So the son Arnold Schwarzenegger had with his maid follows all of his half-siblings on social media, and none of them follow him back.
Like, not even one?
And also, he is the son who looks the most like his father out of all of the siblings, weirdly enough. What is that? It's just a very sad situation.
It is, man.
Poor guy.
Wait, the question is...
Are they just jealous?
Does Arnie follow him?
Oh, probably.
Like, that's what I want to know. Does Arnie follow him?
No, I'm pretty sure no one does.
That's
in the family.
sad. Somebody go give this guy a follow. What's his name?
I mean,
I'm
look,
gonna go give this guy a follow.
I'm not going to sit here and blame the half-siblings. I think if I were one of them, I'd feel the same way.
You would?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. Like, it tore apart the family.
It's not the kid's fault, though. It's their dad's
I know it's
fault.
not the kid. It's not the kid's fault. You're right.
It's the dad's fault. Be mad at dad. Don't be
Many
mad at
such
him.
cases.
Many such cases. Exactly. That's the truth.
It's just that the whole, like, there's no redeeming part of the story. It's not like you can be like, oh, at least blah blah. It's like, no, this is all just a drag all the way down, man. It sucks.
Yeah.
So do you think Elon Musk can settle down? Like, will he ever meet the one and then settle down?
No, I said he's like asexual.
Think so? He doesn't even care about reproducing. He cares about reproducing, but not having sex.
Yeah, exactly. Which is extremely backwards in my mind. I think it's very weird. It's a huge red flag. I don't think he's trustworthy. The Neuralink thing freaks me out.
That's what it'll be. He'll be like, okay, like he starts signing contracts with these women. He's like, I will have a kid with you. I will financially support you. I will financially provide for you. But you have to let me. I have to use the kid for Neuralink tests.
I mean,
right
at least Nick Cannon isn't making it some kind of weird lab experiment, right? At least he actually has relationships with the baby mamas instead of business contracts.
He's trying his best.
I don't know. I mean, neither situation is ideal, obviously.
I think he said those trips to, and Akon.
Oh yeah, Akon also.
Akon's got tons of kids.
But Akon, I look down on him because he's saying he doesn't even need to be involved in their lives.
Yeah, that's gross. So like, I get like Elon Musk is like it's best to have like a family unit. And Elon Musk has got to be spread, thin as paper over all the stuff that he's doing, and trying
too busy tweeting. He's got stuff to tweet.
But like, he's got the resources to bring his family with him wherever he goes if he wants. So it's not a case of like where he can't be available. Like, so I feel less negative overall about it. Yeah. Because if you've got a bunch of money, it makes things that are not accessible to normal people accessible to you. So if he wants, he can have Grimes and everybody in a jet flying right behind him constantly, like circling above him, like while he's at like all the time, like crazy stuff. So if you've got those kind of resources, then, and you're using them, and you do have your kids around, because he does have his family around a lot, it's better than nothing.
It's ironic because the biography about Elon that was making the rounds last year, it described him as someone who's a fool for love and a hopeless romantic and all of that. I'm like, if he's such a hopeless romantic, he's not marrying any of these broads. He's not actually having sex with any of them either.
What's it called?
No,
like
not.
I mean, it's
at least two, right?
Amber Heard. That's about it.
It made me think of made me think about the Lauren Chen tweet from today about.
This.
She says this was her. She was talking to someone. This was just an interesting discussion that I saw on Twitter. I didn't get into it because I don't get into arguments on Twitter. Said, we don't owe anyone anything is such degenerate nihilistic thinking. You do actually owe a great deal to the people who came before you and those who will come after you. We have families, communities, countries. Toxic individualism is as destructive as toxic collectivism. It kind of fits into that discussion, right? Like, Elon's like, well, I might be an individual, but I'm certainly not alone. I've created like 12 kids. I've provided for the future.
It's more than 12 at this point.
Is it? Is it really that many?
I assume at least, some of the baby mamas probably aren't even publicly known to be his baby mamas.
Yeah.
Including Amber Heard. That's just a rumor, though.
Yeah. I would like to know what the chat thinks about this idea of toxic individualism and toxic collectivism.
Well, so there's a concept that the guys Sitch and Adam, they have a podcast on YouTube. They're really good dudes. You should check them out. There's a concept they talk about a lot, which is the dose makes the cure.
Okay.
Right? So the amount of what you're getting, like you can die from drinking too much water because you mess up the electrolyte balance in your body. So everything has a certain amount that's okay. And even when it comes to liberty, like another thing that I might have said here, but I definitely said on the other podcast, like if
other podcast
on IRL, what was that?
The cousin show.
The other show, yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, it slipped my mind, and I
like it.
I have problems with that, anyways. But like, if you don't have, you can't be creative without rules, right?
Okay.
Unless you can't think outside the box unless there's a box. So you can't, if you don't have rules to bend, then you can't actually be creative because everything is just everywhere. So you need some structure. So the idea of total unlimited freedom is literally chaos. And so a lot of times people that are libertarian minded, or especially when you get close to the anarchists, they're just like, I want total absolute freedom. And you lose the ability to have things like a country or have things like a community, things that you can pass on to the next generation, structures that matter, and all that stuff's important if you're going to have a society that actually produces happy people, because people do need structure in their lives. So it is a matter of how much you're getting, and ultimate complete freedom is chaos. So there has to be some kind of at least structure that you're basing your life by, and the structures that are set out in like Christianity and Judaism and stuff like those are actually really, 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 really good for societies generally, or to have societies that go by those rules, because they're honed over thousands and thousands of years of passing these ideas down. It's only new that we're trying to really create brand new structures. That's a whole new concept in the past maybe 100 years, where you're trying to create totally new societal structures independent of any religion or any kind of thing like that. So the structures that come from religion are generally good because they've been tested out.
Well, I think what she was talking about had more to do with families and kids. It was people saying like, I don't owe anyone anything and I don't have to have kids, because that is such a difficult, like that topic tends to rub people raw, like the wrong way. It does.
That's why I think it's like, the whole, I don't want to have a structure. I don't want to live by these rules because, they just sound like too much like dad, or like.
There's also like, I think there's a divide
like,
there where it's like people think that there isn't like that that push from families to, because the media, you're never going to see a push in like the media or movies and television where the person's like, why aren't you having kids? Where are the grandkids? But you're still going to hear that from family members and friends, right? That's still a part of the culture, and it just bothers a lot of people. So it's like they feel like they've been put on the spot for something like that.
I don't know. Maybe increasingly people's family members aren't actually making comments like that.
I think your Facebook aunt and uncle are still around, and your Facebook aunt is still going to ask.
I see a lot of like boomer grandparents who complain about the expectation of, taking care of their grandkids from time to time at this point. Even the boomers are being
awful.
Toxic individualists.
That's awful.
It's blackpilling.
I think that as the older generation becomes, the Gen X becomes the older generation and millennials, it's going to be a lot less of people saying, where's your kids? Where's your, where's your grand? When are you going to give me grandkids?
They don't care about having legacies.
My mom still says that to me and stuff, but like, I don't imagine my sister is going to be riding my nephews to have kids.
My mom was very happy when my brother had kids. And I was very happy. Took the pressure off me for the time being that I did not have to do that quite yet.
I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I think that pressure is a good thing ultimately.
Yeah, I agree. I'd say, but it was just funny because to me, I'm like, oh, she'll just stop bothering me about it for a while. Thank goodness. All right, let's. Mary gets to bask more in the downfall of Euphoria. She's very excited about this.
My prediction after it was announced that season 3 of Euphoria will be suspended indefinitely was that this show is just going to get canceled. And according to one of the actors, that is the case. An actor who chose to remain anonymous told the Daily Beast that season 3, it ain't going to happen. Since January of 2022, we've had a start date of March that turned into June, that turned into January, and then they kept pushing every month from then on. It was 2 full years of HBO telling all the actors we were going to be back soon, so we couldn't take some jobs.
It was like Andrew Huberman on that Christmas when he was supposed to visit
They were
his
getting
girlfriend.
strung along. Yeah,
they were stringing him along like a bad boyfriend.
HBO and Sam Levinson are all of their toxic boyfriends.
I love it.
Exactly.
The show never interested me. I don't imagine that, like, because it's been so long since the second season debuted. Like, the thing is now, like, information and trends move so quickly. I don't know if anybody's like sitting around waiting.
No, actually, the fans of the show doesn't seem like they want season 3 that much.
Like
anyway.
maybe in the immediate aftermath of season 2, people would. But now it's like, for me, the longer something goes without coming out, the more apprehensive I am of it coming back.
There's also just less to rewatch now when shows are on a hiatus because seasons have like 8 to 10 episodes.
Yep.
It's just not very impactful.
It's not
culturally.
Nope. So Mary gets to continue to brag.
I'm happy.
She's very happy. All right. I love this photo because I didn't even make this connection. This is Travis Kelce on the left.
Karma.
Yelling at the coach. And this is Taylor Swift. Probably not yelling at him, but still people read into it. We talked about it yesterday.
Phil, did you see this image?
Yeah, I did.
Well, what did you make of it? Do you think Taylor Swift was yelling at Travis Kelce?
I don't think so because I don't like his body language.
He looks slumped over. He looks a little bit ashamed.
Well, I mean,
tail between his legs.
See, the thing is, like when you sit at a table,
He's
if
been humiliated.
Easy, Mary. Jesus.
He wears a hoop earring.
Mary's like,
He's
get him!
got a high threshold for humiliation.
Mary's over here out for freaking
No,
blood.
I disagree. I mean, I don't actually
wearing
think that.
a hoop earring has a high threshold for humiliation.
I don't actually think that. I think she was probably just mid-sentence.
Yes.
But is that what you thought too?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like she's probably just, like upset about something or hollering about something. Maybe she's mad at Donald Trump.
She's just ranting about Trump.
I mean, maybe she was yelling at him about something that he did in a dream. Maybe it could have been that because that shit happens.
I looked for you in my dream at the concert and you weren't there.
You were on the side of the stage and you were singing the wrong lyrics. You were singing the first chorus and the second.
Where the
you
fuck
don't
were
care
you?
about my art.
Stop looking at my backup dancers like that.
That's why she chooses fat backup dancers, by the way.
Yep. That's what it is.
It's a calculated decision.
Also, she's wearing the most like Meemaw outfit.
No, the sunglasses instantly made me think like Mima on vacation.
She looks like she's on her way to a beach town somewhere.
Something about the hairstyle, I don't know. It's not the best look.
She wants to stop in at an antique store and look at knickknacks.
She wants to get a seashell necklace.
Yes, she does.
Maybe a mood ring.
Oh man.
And she's taking pictures on a disposable camera.
One of those airbrush T-shirts with their names on it. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Family Vacation
listen.
2004.
Exactly.
The Swift Family Vacay 2004, and everybody has to sign it with like a paint pen.
Speaking of Taylor Swift, apparently Joe Alwyn is going to get payouts from her for the rest of his life. He doesn't need to worry about money again due to royalties from the Eras tour he earns from his writing credits on Taylor Swift's songs. So you can get alimony even though you were never married.
That's a good idea.
And it's under a pen name, so no one will even know.
That's fantastic. Every time he gets a check, he goes, "Mwah."
Exactly.
Mailbox money rules, man.
But then
they
they were
mailbox
saying
money
like
rules.
Taylor Swift should re-record all of the songs that had his writing credits on it just so he won't get royalties.
It's not
Well, no,
called
he'll
Taylor's
still
version, it's called
get-
not Joe's
She'll
version.
just change the lyrics that he wrote back.
She'll get she would cut it in half or cut it down, but you don't end up she doesn't take it back.
Unless she changes the lyrics again.
No, because the one that the actual recording that is with him on it
Yes.
that's still out there, so
Yeah.
people are still going to listen.
Right,
to it.
right, yeah.
Not Joe's version.
Taylor's
Which
version.
would be so petty.
All right.
She is that petty though.
That would be actually something that I would be like, okay, that's bad, Taylor. This is bad, Taylor. Generally, I don't have a bad.
Thank you.
That's how Taylor dances. What if Taylor actually does the Donald Trump
She's
dance when
literally
she dances?
worse at dancing than Trump.
All right, guys. So, bad news if you're a Johnny Depp fan. It looks like it has finally been confirmed by longtime producer Jerry Bruckheimer that there will, in fact, be no Johnny Depp in the upcoming Pirates of the Caribbean reboot. That's very,
Imagine
very
my
sad.
shock.
Shocking.
I mean, come on.
It says, you really don't know, he told CB.com, because with Top Gun, you have an actor who is iconic and brilliant. Okay, how is Johnny Depp not those things? Okay, I'm going to continue.
I don't think he's trying to imply Johnny Depp isn't those things.
He says, and how many movies does he does before Top Gun? I can't tell you, but we're gonna reboot Pirates, so that's easier to put together because you don't have to wait for certain actors.
That is actually shady.
Yeah,
When you say it in that
certain
tone.
actors.
When you say it in that tone of voice, that made me realize he was throwing shade. And they weren't going to get Johnny Depp anyway because they can't pay for him, but
Yes.
they have themselves to blame for that, obviously, because they fell for the Me Too hype around Amber Heard to begin with.
Russell in the chat says Rob Zombie should play Captain Jack Sparrow. That's an idea. Actually,
That's not gonna happen.
That's
They're
an
gonna
idea.
get Timothy Chalamet or somebody.
Oh, you're honestly, you're right. Because remember the beginning of
Yeah.
Wonka on the ship?
Yeah, exactly.
You're gonna get someone that looks more Tinkerbell and less Captain Hook.
Yeah. But they didn't say it's going to be a female-led reboot. They are implying this is actually going to be a
They're
sequel.
still gonna get someone that's more Tinkerbell and less Captain Hook.
Yes.
But I mean, it's going to piss people off because if you're not going to have Johnny Depp, why not just replace the lead character? Why do you have to recast Jack Sparrow and rub salt into the wound? You know?
Chat, who is suitably quirky and charismatic enough to play that role?
Someone in the chat said Ian Crossland.
Ooh, I would love that.
I actually think that would kind of be
Pirates
hilarious.
of the Crosslands.
We got a
Well, I don't think they would change the name.
$20 from Sky Wilker. He said, dying to hear Phil's opinion of a band named Dogma. Love the sound, hate the fake mystery crap. Deaf not for the more prudish, but I just like the sound and care less about the image/lyrics.
Are they a metal band? I'm gonna check. So I'm gonna.
I guess you've never heard of them.
No, I have not. So I don't know. I will check them out, and you can ask me again next week to
Okay.
give you a.
We'll
review.
circle back on that.
Yes. Shia
Saki,
LaBeouf.
that bad boy.
Shia LaBeouf.
They already tried to
He
get-
also got canceled.
He
He has a
also-
pending trial for sexual battery. That's not going to happen.
Shia LaBeouf already kind of ruined Indiana Jones, just not as bad as modern as the most recent Indiana
I'm
Jones.
telling you,
so-
they're going to pick Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah,
He has scurvy.
Honestly, you're probably right. Also, I saw somebody basically posting pictures that he put on some weight, talking
really?
about impending twink death.
Like, put on some weight as in he's
Like,
getting fat, or
his
is he
neck-
putting on
his-
muscle finally?
His neck doesn't look like a straw.
Is he going through second puberty?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, like his neck doesn't look like a broken
for him.
straw anymore.
Good for him.
So okay, the Dogma band is hilarious. They look like they're Dogma _ band on Instagram, and they dress up like black metal nuns. I can't even wait now. So,
Okay.
anyways, go ahead.
This part made me laugh. This says female-led Disney movies haven't been all that successful, and Bob Iger is reported to have said Disney is bringing back the boys.
I would love to see like do you think-
When and where did he say that?
I would love to see like Bob Iger, like as soon as the cameras are off and everybody leaves the office, he's like boys. He just plays poker
He's
all
just
night and
the most
smokes cigars.
raging chauvinist ever, secretly.
He's like, hey Toots, bring
Yeah.
me a drink here.
Bob Iger is allegedly bringing back male-centered narratives after facing backlash for politicizing their films. A Disney exec claims the audience has equated perceived messaging in a film with its quality, leading to criticism of female empowerment in movies like Star Wars and the Marvels. It's unclear if this pivot toward male-centered stories will be successful.
Get Steve Buscemi
As the same creatives
as
would be
Captain
in
Jack
charge.
Sparrow.
Okay, here's a horrible, which one would you rather have? A panicky male lead or a girl boss lead? Which one is worse?
The panicky male lead is worse, but I don't know.
Actually, we should do this as a poll in
Yeah.
the chat. I want to ask you guys.
Like, what would you prefer?
I feel like
I'd rather watch a.
the panicky male lead can be done in a way that's okay.
Well, so I mean, both can be done well. Can be done okay if it's done well. That's the problem.
Can we do
Well,
a
as long as it's
panicky
not-
female lead?
I mean, I think that
That's honestly, yes, that's what Argyle
Argyle
was to
had
start,
that.
and it was fantastic. But then by the midway point of the movie, poof, script writing magic. She's no longer panicky female lead.
Yeah.
She's girl boss lead. And
But
you
there
can
was a
literally
pl-
hear me in the theater. I'm like, ah.
But it made sense in the plot, at least.
Yes.
The way that she evolved as a character. But they also had a panicky female co-star in Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, she was like a thief, but she just wasn't used to the world of espionage. So she was like the perfect balance of like good at what she does,
Sure.
but she doesn't just get to enter this completely new environment and pick it up perfectly. And I
Okay.
said that when
Start
we
the
were,
poll, start the poll.
when I was done with when we were done with that movie, I said if they had done Indiana Jones 5 the way they did Mission Impossible 7, it would have been leagues better. Yes. I look. I like Shia LaBeouf in the Transformers movies. He's a panicky male lead. I have no problem with it. He still gets to kind of save the day. He also gets the moment. There's this great moment, and everybody can hate the second Transformers movie all they want, but it's this part where it's very true to real life, and they would never do it now.
Is Megan Fox in the second one?
Yes.
Okay.
So Michaela, that's Megan Fox, keeps wanting to know, like, trying to get him to say "I love you," and he won't say it. Because, man afraid of commitment, very, common story.
Okay.
By the end of the movie, like, he's dead and gets brought back to life. And while he's dead, she says, "I love you." And then finally he says, "I love you," after she gets brought back to life. She goes, "You said it." He goes, "You said it first." So he got one over on her. But it was sweet in the moment, or at least it was meant to be sweet if the movie wasn't dog shit.
Well,
but
yeah.
I love it.
But those dynamics are always like fun to watch, though.
Yes.
They're those kind of like playful things and stuff like that. That's endearing, and that's also like exemplary of like healthy male female relationship and dynamic and back and forth, and that's something that the left doesn't understand nowadays.
So this Disney executive said, they're not named. We don't know who it is, but they said, "Make better movies" becomes code for make movies that confirm regressive gender stereotypes.
Yes.
Or put men front and center in the narrative.
Yes.
Which is what you're seeing now.
Maybe.
And what Bob Iger's pivot is about right now. That sounds like a good thing.
No.
Yes.
Here's the thing: when you revert back to the traditional roles and you don't get hampered with thoughts of what the identity of the person matters, it allows you to focus on the actual script.
Yes.
The reason why straight white male characters do so well is because they don't have to think about all the eccentricities that come along with
They're
identity
not
politics.
distracting.
They're not distracting. Exactly. It's perfect.
It's like they like, and this goes to like. One of the things that we're saying is like bring back like aspirational characters so that way you can get lost in the story and not be thinking about your own shortcomings and blah blah blah, and how have you failed to be anti-racist, or how have you failed to be feminist or whatever. Like that's all kinds of, there's all these things that are mixed in with all these political messages, and it's like when you make
the story gets lost.
Yeah, when you make it the actually boring, quote unquote normal, then it can be about the story and not about the character's unique dynamic with their own identity.
Yep.
Like the identity might not be the identity of the person shouldn't be the focus of the story. The story should be the story.
Yep. I don't care.
Luscious Solution, he sent $20. Sydney Sweeney in a sexy pirate uniform. The cleavage will keep the men and women distracted long enough to watch the movie, even though we know the movie will suck.
Honestly, I say just go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
I don't think
Captain Jackie Sparrow starring Sydney Sweeney. Just do it. You're screwed either way.
After Madam Web, I don't think she wants to be in these franchises anymore.
I don't want Ryan Reynolds as Jack Sparrow. It's just too like when we were so somebody made a really interesting observation. They said that when they watched the trailer for Fall Guy, it's like somebody said it's like they wrote the role for Ryan Reynolds and he said no.
I'm kind of glad about that.
Yeah,
I don't like Ryan Reynolds
because Ryan Gosling's good in that.
I like Ryan Gosling, not Ryan Reynolds.
And here's the thing: like panicky male lead is one of those things where it's less. It runs less of a risk of being mean spirited. So the girl boss trope tends to be mean-spirited towards men.
It's all mean-spirited.
Whereas the panicky male lead tends to be a bit self-deprecating, but not necessarily overtly supportive of women, unless there is also the strong female character that keeps putting him in his place. As long as you have the panicky male lead, but you don't have a woman putting him in his place all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Girl bossing is a woman. It's a woman-splaining what a man is. That's what it is.
Ooh, I like this one. Helena Bonham Carter as a pirate. Yes, she could play a pirate. She'd be good in that. Lana Del Rey as a pirate.
That would be good.
You're always going to get, when you have like girl bossing, there's always going to be that tinge of malice in it, because that's the way that women like assert themselves. It's social interpersonal stuff where because of the whole like men, there's always a threat of violence. Men can joke around in a different way because it becomes serious when the physical part starts to become obvious, when dudes start to puff up, when dudes stand up. Okay, that joke was too much. Okay, women don't have that, so the way that the interpersonal dynamic is different. So when a woman is trying to act like a girl boss, which is like a man, it's going to come off like a feminine version of a man, and that's what it is.
That type of bravado just doesn't tend to work in those situations.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. We'll have to wait and see. I still say go with Steve Buscemi.
I mean, I think either way, whether you go with a panicky male lead or a girl boss lead, you're still not giving audiences what they want. And we can see that every movie that not just men, but also women really love, there is a male character that is strong, sacrifices his life or puts his life on the line to protect and save other people.
Do you think
that's
some
what
of
people
that
want?
Comes back to the idea? There's that quote that always Chris Rock said it years ago, and it kind of comes up ever so often, when it says, "Only women and dogs are loved unconditionally. Men are loved on the condition that you provide."
Yeah.
That you provide something. Maybe that's why it works works well for men, is because you understand that your desire to act like that is because the society requires that of you.
Yeah.
Whereas when a woman does it, it seems unrealistic because nobody is requiring women in society to behave that way.
Yes, absolutely. Like, look, women have the magical power of making more humans. And that's why men do everything they have done in history to protect and to have access to women. Like, it's all about, like, the fact that women can do that. Men don't have that ability. So, like, the way that we look at men compared to women is just totally different. And so when women try to act like men, it just kind of comes off as not attractive to people.
I was watching this old episode of Third Watch last night, and there's this character. She's like a sergeant in an anti-crime unit. And this show came out in like 1999, but this episode's from 2004. And she's always running her mouth. She's got bravado. She's always, yelling at people, but more in like the professional sense. She's got a temper, but she's not necessarily a bad person inherently. But there's a scene where she gets her ass kicked by this dude who's like twice her size. Nowadays, I don't think that they would run that scene the same way. Because it just makes sense. The dude just literally picks her up by the shoulders off the ground and throws her against a wall, and she doesn't just start beating him up. Right. So, but even when she gets saved by other people in the unit, she ends up, because she's been humiliated, she gets angry and starts yelling at people, which felt very real to me. It would have been one thing for her character to humble herself there, but nothing in her personality before that lends you to believe that she would ever do that. So you're still allowed to show her as multidimensional. She still gets to be shown as somebody who goes to her job every day and does her best, but she's flawed. And she's not just going to beat up a dude twice her size because the script says so.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's go cringe or cute of the day.
Let's see, cringe.
Cringe. All right. Yeah, guys. Whatever. Just
It's really
hold
bad.
on to your
it
hats.
like caused me pain.
Here we go. Let's listen to this, shall we?
Okay.
I've been chilling in the mountains of Peru, drinking ayahuasca with the shaman stew. Purpose and paper that shift the mood. I've been learning about myself, finding out my truth. I've been healing my soul, tried the best medicine. I've been learning shit from the aliens, like how we're all connected to the pyramids, and how we used to use them for time traveling. Now I'm astral projecting, remembering how to
love it.
navigate
Never mind, I
the
love
ether.
it.
Sound heals didgeridoo, singing bowls every lyric, medicinal truth. Sound transforms DNA, my mind's making things move. Whoa. Kidney infection, I heal that too. I've been doing things your brain can't compute. They'll say it's magic, but you could do it too. Just open up your heart and let it channel through.
I mean, isn't the kidney infection just your immune system?
She cured her kidney infection with meditation, and if you don't believe that.
How many like dimensions has she passed through? I like this lady. I've changed my mind. I like this lady. I'm all for it.
Let's invite her on the show.
We should invite her on the show.
Thanks, I hate it. No, when I hear Ian talk about something that I just don't understand, this is what I hear.
This exact song.
This is literally, yeah.
Well, I mean, so first of all, everything
what's
she
her OnlyFans?
said was a lie.
She has the only.
Somebody says she's an OnlyFans model.
I mean, that wouldn't.
There's
surprise
that word
me.
again.
Is
model.
it really?
Wait, what did you say, Phil?
So yeah, I mean, first of all, like, she hits like every single stereotype, and I was talking about this last night. Like, it is so hippie over the top. It's like that the Andrew Tate commercials that they just released.
Yeah, the ones about
they're so over the top. Like she's like that. She's a hippie, but like every aspect of a hippie's on 10. You know, time traveling, use the pyramids to time travel.
It's like she asked ChatGPT to write a script for a hippie song.
Yes.
Cody Rose said, "Get that cringe off the screen. That girl makes my skin crawl."
You know,
that's saying something considering what Cody tells us about in his super chats from
Your
time to
super
time.
chats make our skin crawl, so maybe you deserve it.
Pyramids, huh? So, like, if this had happened 20 years ago, she'd be singing "Magnets, How Do They Work" from ICP. That's what she'd do. That's pretty much.
I mean, she's huge though. Like, she's got 1 million followers on Instagram at least.
What's
How
her name?
can mirrors be real if our eyes aren't real?
Yeah, exactly.
Shannon something, I forget.
Shannon hippie lady.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, so she's
She
you know,
grows
she's doing
moss
something
in
right.
her car.
She definitely grows moss in a lot of places.
Oh, no.
I mean, somebody literally left that comment that said hippie chicks smell awful. Yes.
I mean,
You know, she looks like she takes care of herself.
She's got a good amount of makeup on.
Yeah.
How do you even get the lip gloss over the lip ring? Do you have to go and then stop and go over to the other side? Does the lip gloss get in between the lip ring?
Interesting. Never thought about that.
Logistics, people. How
Yeah.
do they work? All right, let's do cute of the day because, yes, okay. It is what it is. Superpower. This is from Corey Moreau. Says, not my pets, but I like how the cats and skunks coexist.
What?
Right there. Just hanging out.
Wait, wasn't this like an old cartoon? Like a cat fell in love with a skunk.
Oh, dog doesn't like it. Dog's not a fan.
That is going to destroy your house.
Yes. One more here. This is from the Half Baked Treehouse. Meet Candace Olivia. Oh, I think we did this one already.
Oh, okay. Do we have any more?
Oh, maybe I do, but I'm gonna double check just in case we didn't. Oh, that's
I don't
adorable.
remember this one.
Okay. This is Candace Olivia de Guadalupe Marquez Flores Juarez.
That's a lot.
I know y'all don't believe dogs can have a genuine attachment to their stuffies, but Lupita and Zeus would disagree.
Hey, we never said that. I don't believe that.
Mary says Seamus just said they can't have souls.
They
That's
look
all.
like they're friends.
They do. That's adorable.
just can't have souls.
That's cute.
It's adorable. It just can't have a soul. Vote for Seamus Coughlin 2024. All right,
That's his
guys,
slogan.
let's go ahead and get started then, shall we? Now that we are 42 minutes into the show. Mary, tell everybody who Andrew Huberman is and why the hell the media is so gung-ho to get rid of this guy.
Successful.
Yeah,
Is
basically,
it successful? Andrew Huberman is a podcaster. He has the podcast Huberman Lab. I actually wasn't familiar with this until this expose came out from New York Magazine.
Fun fact, I was actually subscribed to his channel.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so
there was a video from a couple years ago that I watched.
Yeah.
And I subscribed. So
yeah. Let us know if any of you guys are fans of him. But New York Magazine earlier this week published an expose on all of Andrew Huberman's sexual indiscretions titled Andrew Huberman's Mechanisms of Control: The Private and Public Seductions of the World's Biggest Pop Neuroscientists.
That's the part that bothers me. Like the fact that it's phrased as it like the control stuff, the abuse and stuff like that, as if the people that he was cheating on are it's almost
subjects in as an experiment.
Well,
the thing is, it intentionally brings to mind something that might be actionable by the government. If you're abusing people, that's something the government will get itself involved in. So this is intentional. Yeah. The reason they use the words, or the reason they frame it like this, is to imply that there is some kind of punitive action that is required from the government. That's 100% the intent.
So, Russell Brand basically says that he thinks that this is something that would likely be funded through the media by like big pharma and big food, because he talks so much about the toxicity of modern day food and stuff like that.
He, from my understanding, makes self-improvement content that like mainly appeals to men, and he talks about therapy. He really I don't like this part. He champions therapy. Yeah. He loves therapy.
They do take shots.
Talks about exercise.
These articles
that's super far right wing. As soon as you get off the couch, you're Hitler.
They take shots at his affiliation with Stanford because obviously he's a professor there.
Yeah, he's also an associate professor at Stanford and an actual PhD neuroscientist. So they do try to discredit him, but he is an expert in his field. Yep. But he just happens to be a bad person. And how do I put this in the most 2024 way possible? He was polyamorous and his girlfriends were monogamous.
There you go. That's perfect. It was a break. We were on a break.
So here is their tweet. For our latest cover story,
an entanglement.
We went deep into the wellness-obsessed world of Andrew Huberman, talking with former girlfriends who reveal a dark side to the neuroscientist turned podcast host. Manipulative behavior, deceit, and numerous affairs.
I like this chord in the chat says Rogan adjacent. Yeah, that's a great term.
He is Rogan adjacent. He's been on Joe Rogan's podcast and he talks about...
Rogan adjacent means men.
Yes.
That's literally what it means.
Podcasters with dominantly male audiences.
It's fair to point out. I saw somebody in the chat earlier say you oftentimes don't want to learn about the personal lives of those you look up to for things like this. What is it? It says great men usually have correspondingly great failures.
I mean, look at Jordan Peterson, for instance.
Yes,
he had his own fall from grace, and I think people actually admire him more for being able to rise from the ashes.
And that's what I believe the media wants out of this. I think they want to tear down the pillars of men who are looking to improve themselves, like a Jordan Peterson.
I don't think of Andrew Huberman as even in the same caliber, not nearly in the same caliber as a Jordan Peterson. I think he is a smart person who makes content for midwits, basically. I mean, you're telling us, don't drink coffee before you work out. And don't have toxic friendships, and he puts it into a language of expertise.
I guess I'll never look
compelling.
down on somebody who uses their free time to consume stuff that they hope at least is beneficial to improving their lives.
I don't disagree with self-improvement content at all. I just think that there's a bit of an idol worship of self-improvement.
Yes, that is true.
These days, and Andrew Huberman seems like an example of that, but let's get into what was revealed in the expose. So, his first girlfriend, Sarah. Sarah's relationship with Andrew Huberman began in February 2018 in the Bay Area after he slid into her Instagram DMs. And in July 2018, Sarah says she asked to clarify the depth of their relationship.
Hate it when that one comes up, boys.
And by the way,
am I your girlfriend or not?
So this man is in his 40s. This man is in his 40s, and she is also in her 40s and has 2 kids. And you have been dating this guy for 6 months, and you're talking about what are we? I mean, you're literally acting like teenagers. But anyway, at that point, she says they decided to be exclusive. Sarah was willing to have unprotected sex because she believed they were monogamous. Sarah also says that he flaked on plans that year to meet her family at Thanksgiving with a bunch of different random excuses. They say Huberman disappearing was something of a pattern. Friends, girlfriends, and colleagues describe him as hard to reach. The list of reasons for not showing up included a book, timestamping a podcast, his dog Costello, wildfires, and a meetings tunnel.
Well, look,
he's
Mary,
flaky and doesn't respond to things.
Mary, people take the time stamping of podcasts very seriously.
I know we do. Every
day, as soon as this podcast is over, there's a comment that immediately says, where the hell are the timestamps?
Exactly. Andrew Huberman declined to be interviewed by the New York magazine.
Shocking. Why would he subject himself to that?
He did have a spokesperson answer for him. They say Huberman did not become exclusive with Sarah until late 2021. And tasks between him and Sarah were shared, quote, based on mutual agreement and proficiency, that their Thanksgiving plans were only tentative, and he maintains a very busy schedule and shows up to the vast majority of his commitments.
Do you think that she likes that word when talking about your interpersonal relationships with the person you're supposed to be in a relationship?
Proficiency.
Proficiency?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, does self-improvement have to be your religion?
Yeah.
And you use this psychobabble all the time, even when you're having what is supposed to be a heart-to-heart conversation with someone? It's off-putting. Sarah recalls Huberman going into fits of rage, quote, as 2 to 3 days of yelling in a row. When he was in this state, he would go on until 11 or 12 at night and sometimes start again at 2 or 3 in the morning. The relationship also struck Sarah's friends as odd. They interviewed this woman's friends. At one point, Sarah said, "I just want to be with my kids and cook for my man." A close friend of hers said, "I was like, who says that? I've known her for 30 years. She's powerful, decisive, and a strong woman. We grew up in a very feminist community. That's not a thing either of us would ever say." So they are trying to frame him as controlling, misogynistic, patriarchal, etc. All of the buzzwords.
Yep.
But here's where it just starts to look like Sarah's a clown. She found out that Huberman cheated on her when she snooped in his journal in August 2021.
See, all these self-improvement dudes talk about the importance of journaling. Maybe he'll stop pushing that one now. He's like, guys, you shouldn't journal. Or if you're going to journal, lock that journal up when you're done, lest your 4 other girlfriends
Have a voice-activated one.
Like, don't do it, because they're always like, I get up at 3 in the morning, I do 30 minutes of journaling, and then I do a cold plunge,
Yeah.
and then after that, I do 30 minutes more of journaling, and I turn back time so I can start back over at 3 in the morning, and I've lived 6 lives before 6 in the morning even comes.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Don't journal, boys. You're going to get caught.
Well, here is the catch. They stayed together after she found out he was cheating, and they agreed to have children via IVF. So that same year, as she's going through rounds of IVF with a man she knows has cheated on her, she tested positive for HPV. Quote, when she brought it up, Huberman told her that you could contract HPV from a number of things.
Sitting in a toilet seat, perhaps.
And then they fully started living together in July 2022. So again,
4 other girlfriends, and he's living with one.
Again, she already knows that he has cheated and possibly continues to cheat. She is continuing to try to have children with this man, live with this man, and not get any commitment from him. So that is her mistake. According to Sarah, Andrew Huberman's rage intensified when they started cohabitating.
Oh, I bet.
He fixated on her decision to have children with another man, that is 11 years before they met. She says he told her that being with her was like, quote, bobbing for apples in feces. Huberman's spokesperson denied all of the above and said Dr. Huberman is very much in control of his emotions. Sarah also caught Huberman in an affair with an actress referred to by the name Eve, again in August 2022. This is the second time she caught him cheating, okay? Amidst their continued rounds of IVF, by the way. And he was, oh, I'm sorry. He was apologetic. He was like, I'm not going to do this again. And Eve, the woman he was in an affair with, had the impression that he was not seeing anyone else. Thus, she was willing to have unprotected sex. Sarah's toxic relationship with Huberman continued until December 2023.
Yeah.
So you found out he was cheating on you in August 2021, again in 2022, and you were with him until literally a few months ago.
Kept the affairs to 1 a year. What more can a guy ask for?
She is an idiot. She is an idiot. And this is embarrassing. It's pathetic that she's even admitting this through an anonymous name in any public fashion. Sarah's relationship continued until December 2023. Additional concubines came out of the woodwork and connected with each other. One referred to as Alex from New York. Another called Mary, a dreamy, charismatic Texan he had been seeing for years. And a 5th woman in LA. And essentially they started a support group chat for all of the women that were duped by him.
Huberman hoes.
The Huberman hoes. The Huberman Eskimo sisters,
Yes.
if you will.
Yep.
Just, this is such embarrassing behavior for adult women who fancy themselves feminists.
It is absolutely not embarrassing behavior for adult women. It is exactly what you should expect from adult women. Absolutely.
That's just really sad and
that is
pathetic.
100% true. This is no different. The only difference is the internet has allowed the circle that they get together and talk in to be international if necessary.
Yes.
This is totally normal behavior for women. Absolutely. There's nothing unique or weird about it. Homeboy got himself into a position where there were a lot of girls that he's banging, and they found out. This is what happens when you know. But the problem, in my opinion, the only problem, not a problem with anything the girls are doing complaining. The only problem is if they start to try and make it like some kind of thing where you're gonna have to prosecute them, or like the cancel culture aspect of it sucks too, because they're gonna be like, don't work with him, don't do, he cheated on me, blah blah. And then as soon as like, you know, all these women could be in a relationship, married and stuff, and then as soon as they don't want to be in the relationship, they'll start a new relationship before they even tell their husband. So it's all just relationship stuff. That's garbage. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think they're planning to, I don't know, file a lawsuit, but they are, I think, hoping that this sex scandal will hurt his career. I just think they all ignored red flags. All of them.
Yes.
And are openly admitting to doing that, even though they think of themselves as these driven, individualist women who are very empowered and free thinking.
I assume
they were all ignoring red flags from a toxic, neurotic weirdo.
I mean, I assume
with no
that
hobbies.
I assume that they look at the status he has with his profession and his YouTube channel and the amount of people he reaches every day, and that blinded them just a little bit to the negatives.
And what is his status worth to you if he's not going to be in a committed relationship with you?
I don't know if they ask themselves that question.
They don't, because they're stupid.
Well, you know, I guarantee these women had a certain amount of because there's something that women do, like when men get jealous of another man, they want to fight the man. When women get jealous, they want to bang the guy they're jealous of. They want to prove that it's their man, whatever. So it makes women want to have sex and stuff. So it ends up where you get women doing the one-upping each other before they realize, wait a minute, this is stupid.
Yep.
He's getting more sex out of the relationship because of our behavior. But you know.
Well, here's the most glaring red flag that they ignored. Multiple women recall him saying he preferred the kind of relationship in which the woman was monogamous but the man was not. One said, he told me that he wanted a woman who was submissive, who he could slap in the ass in public, and who would be crawling on the floor for him when he got home. A spokesperson for Huberman denies this.
Look, those supplements are just hitting hard. He's doing good.
So
and
he told
also,
you.
look, technically, not technically, but there's nothing wrong with saying that. If you are open about that and you want that in a relationship, there is no difference between that and a kinky weird relationship where like the dude's like, you have to put me in a box when you get home until like we go to bed or whatever weirdness. The point is it's consensual. So if he says he wants this and the girl's like, I'm here for it, you're kind of in a position where you're like, you said okay.
Yep.
Responsibility.
I just...
Not saying it's not weird and deviant either, though. So.
Obviously, he's a sexual deviant. But, you know, he told you who he was. He told you the quiet part out loud, and you chose to ignore the red flags. It's, like, embarrassing for me, like, as a woman, that these women are acting this way. And they're all in their 30s and 40s, and maybe even older. You should know better, okay? And basically, they all became friends. Eve said, it could have been sad or bitter. We didn't jump in as besties, but real friendships have been built, and it has been, in a strange and unlikely way, quite a beautiful experience. And they are now planning a girls' trip together in the summer.
They bonded over the attack on someone else, which is, again, similar to what men do. Like, you get dudes in combat, and they bond over the fight. This is exactly what the women did. They bonded over attacking the man that they saw
Like, if you
as the
had
enemy.
an ounce of self-respect, you would have never done any of these interviews or publicized what happened in any way, and basically act like this person doesn't exist and move on with your life.
Huberman Ho's Caribbean Cope Fest.
Seriously.
What?
The
what they'll do.
Huberman Hose
Oh, yeah.
vacation. The Huberman Hose family vacation.
Caribbean Cope Fest, where they go and just commiserate. Commiserating Cope Fest.
I mean, he also just sounds like a nightmare to be around as well. They're talking about him like he's this extremely neurotic freak, and his idea of fun is doing an ice bath and then running for 10 miles. Like, they asked, what is your definition of fun? And he said, I like to learn and exercise. I just don't want to be around someone who's that boring.
And nothing's going to happen, because here's the thing. It's not going to hurt his channel, because the men will compartmentalize. Most of the men will be like, 5 girlfriends, that's awesome. Those supplements must really work. And the rest of them will say, because men tend to be more analytical, say, well, is the advice he's giving me on neuroscience helpful? Are the topics that he's talking about helpful to me bettering myself as a person? Is he promoting himself as a relationship expert? Doesn't seem to be doing so.
Really.
So it looks like he'll be fine either way, and they get to go off on the Huberman Hose commiserating Cope Fest in the Caribbean.
They're gonna like overshare about his penis with each other.
Yes.
Here were some tweets. Okay, no offense, but if you're a woman over the age of 24 and you think you're in an exclusive relationship with a terminal gym bro podcast celebrity who, quote, loves therapy and has obvious male manipulator physiognomy, then I can't help you.
What is male manipulator physiognomy?
I mean, if I looked at this guy, I would assume that he has male manipulator physiognomy. I don't know how to explain it, but I think if you know the signs, then you're able to stay away from someone like this.
Okay,
and not only that, but he verbally told you who he was.
That sounds to me like, when the moon's in Gatorade, which was a great line. That sounds like the same kind of like, I can just tell.
I can tell.
You can?
I can tell.
Okay.
I can tell.
Well,
I'm telling you, this would not happen to me.
Well, that's true. I'm confident
Never
that
in a million years.
I'm confident of that, but I don't think that it wouldn't happen to you because you are able to pick them out by physiognomy or physiognomy or the physiognomy.
I believe in physiognomy. I do believe it's real. I do. Andrew Huberman gets 5 girlfriends at the same time, tells each of them he's exclusive, and gets them all to agree to unprotected sex, none of them aware of or consent to him sleeping around. Don't know why everyone is rushing to defend him. That's another reaction.
Well, here's the thing: like
story.
the people that want to watch their content and find value from it will be able to disassociate a bit and compartmentalize. Just like when a lot of people used Jordan Peterson's time in rehab to degrade, to denigrate him and to put him down and say, look, how can you take life advice from somebody who's been to rehab? Which is bullshit.
Men are in any man that is in a masculine space, or probably synonymous with a right-wing space nowadays, but any man like in those spaces, if you show any weakness, the left are going to crucify you. Absolutely crucify you. They're going to do everything they can to say, look, he talks about being tough all the time and there's a chink in the armor. Yep. So like you have to expect that because, well, the left clearly hates men,
Yep. So I don't think that this hurts the guy at all. I think if anything, he gets more famous out of this. And like the comments, I was just looking at some of his most recent videos. He's got a video out right now with a mentalist and magician, which is actually fairly interesting. But like half the comments are talking about the hit pieces and the other half are talking about why they don't care about the hit pieces. So all it is driving engagement for him.
And then it's going to blow over in a week because the outrage cycle continues. Yeah. But it's just insane that this is being billed as some kind of Me Too allegation. No. Like, no, he's just a freak. The Sky Chief sent $50.
Thank you.
Do not listen to what women say. Watch what they reward. These women would rather share a high value man than
get a lower value man for herself.
Get a lower man for herself.
I'm telling you right now, the fact that he's an established professor, the fact that he's got a 5 million subscriber YouTube channel and all of these sponsors and he's doing well for himself, that played a role in this. If it's Jim, the security guard from the local bank, something tells me that they're not going to treat him the same way. I just don't believe that.
It's true.
They're all saying that they think he's a psychopath.
No.
The piece is written to imply that he has the dark triad of like Machiavellianism.
Yeah, again, because the whole point is they wanted to seem like he's dangerous, and they want people to justify the possibility of using the law against men who harm women. Like it's the left's language, the left's use of language, and their attempts to dictate the narrative about what is and isn't acceptable behavior is really a problem for society.
I just think if this guy actually were, a psychopath or a sociopath or that great of a manipulator, he would be more likable. He just sounds like a nightmare to be around. Seriously, he sounds like an antisocial weirdo. And the only reason they gave him a pass on that is because, he keeps a good physique, he has money, and he has fame. And that makes the women clowns. They were clowns for that.
Well, I mean, these particular women, yes.
Yes.
All right, let's go super chats.
Andrew Jacobs said, F. Joe Lieberman, Tipper Gore on crack, Jello, but I don't know
He's the
how to say
politician who
that.
died.
He just passed away.
Biafra. I don't know what any of this means. What does that mean?
I don't even know what it is. Where is it?
I don't get it.
It says F. Joe Lieberman, Tipper Gore on crack.
I don't get it.
I mean,
Shane H. Wilder said, Happy Thursday, Brett, Mary, and Phil. Daddy's Home meme is out. I'm lax on material as of late because I'm working on a special project for all of Timcast. I gotta keep my poker face on this one.
I did see that. I look particularly maniacal in that one. I'm not a huge... Anything with me smiling with blonde hair, I look like an absolute psychopath. It's not good.
Have you seen the meme?
Yes, I have.
Wait, can you show it to me?
I
want to see it.
I can find it.
Shane H. Wilder said, let me correct myself. Happy Maundy Thursday. I've never heard that term before. You mean Holy Thursday?
Is that what
I guess it's another term for that. Dave Collins said Pirates of the Caribbean without Johnny Depp is a terrible idea and is doomed to be a box office failure. This is another avoidable L for Disney.
Correct. Here it is. I hate it. Thanks, I hate it.
Ew.
Yes. That's exactly what I said.
Ah.
Please make it go away.
Are we going to make that into merch?
No, we're not making that into merch.
No?
One more.
Okay, Greg Duvier said, Phil, one of my favorite failed musicians. When do I get to hear your next failed new song that I will play over and over again while lifting weights?
So the mix of the first single is done. The video is getting color corrected now. I still don't have a date because we're waiting on a headlining tour announcement that we're not doing the headlining. We're waiting on a headliner to announce the tour that we're on this summer. So we're not putting anything out. We're going to put it all out at the same time. Shouldn't be more than a couple weeks. We still need a little bit of time to finish up the video and stuff anyways, but it is coming very, very soon. Shouldn't be too long, but I'm waiting on a big name headliner to actually say that we can talk about the stuff, and everything's coming then. So
Okay. All right, let's hold off on the rest. Mary, it's time to talk about Late Night with the Devil and this ridiculous controversy involving artificially intelligent images.
Yes, there is a new horror indie film called Late Night with the Devil. Essentially, a premise is that a demonic possession gets broadcast on national television and brings demonic activity into living rooms all over the country. I haven't seen it. I don't plan on seeing it. And, it's a pretty small-time production. But a bunch of art nerds decided to boycott this movie because they admitted to using multiple AI images to promote it.
Like we're talking about quarter of a second they were on screen.
Yeah. Late Night
Every
with the
time
Devil
I read one of these
directors-
tweets, I wanted to shove a kid into a locker.
Directors explain
suck.
using AI art in the film and say they experimented with only 3 images. So here was their statement after there was much anger on the internet. In conjunction with our amazing graphics and production design team, all of whom worked tirelessly to give this film a 1970s aesthetic we had already imagined, we experimented with AI for 3 still images, which we edited further and ultimately appear as very brief interstitials. Is that how you say it in the film? We feel incredibly fortunate to have had such talented and passionate cast, crew, and producing team go above and beyond to help bring the film to life. We can't wait for everyone to see it for themselves this weekend. But that wasn't enough.
No.
They got flooded with angry comments. One said, my heart broke watching Late Night with the Devil this evening to see that they utilized AI art.
Here's the image, by the way. If you want to know what the image looks like, there it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's on the screen for 0.2 seconds.
And then somebody said, I went ahead and recreated it. This could have been a dream job for an artist like me.
Okay.
Yep.
That's fine, but you didn't get the job.
You know
so.
what? You know why you didn't get why they went with the AI? Because people like you are whiny. You are demonstrating exactly why they're going with AI. They went with AI, and the AI didn't complain when they wanted to change it some. The AI didn't give them an attitude. The AI didn't go. The AI didn't try to convince them why they were wrong. The AI did what they asked.
It's going to be kind of like when they don't understand why people hate unions so much, and then they'll be like, why aren't they hiring us to do these jobs? As they complain about why they're not being hired to do these jobs. Remember when this stuff happens and they talk about for the good of the industry, they do mean that, but they also mean for the good of my job specifically. You know, and these are the type of things where for a film like this, I get what they're saying, because the point is that this is a low budget film, and they're talking. And again, if you're a pretentious art nerd filmmaker, then you should expect the wrath of pretentious art nerd creators as well.
Sort of, but at the same time, this is going to demonstrate how human beings can keep ahead of AI to some degree. Have a relationship with the people that are buying your service.
Yep.
Like if you have a relationship with people, that if like you work with them and you talk to them, and maybe you even like ask them how their mom's doing when you talk and you chit chat for 5 minutes, as opposed to everything being an email and impersonal and just hit BCC or instead of reply all or whatever. Have a relationship with them. They'll come back to you, and they'll keep doing business with you because they like you.
AI isn't just cheaper, it's easier to work with
Yeah.
than people.
Artists are notoriously difficult to work
True.
with.
But I think it's weird because there's no moral outrage when, big studios use green screens or blue screens to create artificial environments instead of hiring crews to construct environments.
I love the idea.
There's
that
no moral outrage about that.
All of the helicopter pilots who run these businesses that shoot overhead shots are like, I'm boycotting the films because they're shooting it they're not shooting it in camera in the helicopters anymore. They're doing it in a green screen. I don't want to do that.
You're talking about a helicopter, bro. Like I'd flew a helicopter to the top of the Big Island in Hawaii, and it cost $700 for an hour.
Yep.
Like that's why.
Yep.
Also, if this is an independent studio that has a lower budget, that means that they actually do have less resources to pay people to do the work. Mm-hmm. They should have more of an excuse than a big studio to use AI, right?
Yeah.
That should give them at least. I'm not that I think they even need an excuse, actually.
Also, it's fair to point out that this stuff was done a couple years ago, really before this whole debate came into the public consciousness.
And before the strikes.
And then people were arguing about, no, it was still being talked about at this time. Yeah, but not as much as it is now.
Yeah.
Not as much as it is now, and that matters.
Yeah. Also, they reported that Late Night with the Devil made exactly $666,666 at the domestic box office on Sunday.
Very scary. I better go see it now.
Do you think they're lying? Variety literally reported it as fact.
I don't think they're lying. I think it's just stupid.
Did they plan it that way? I just don't know how that's possible.
Here's the other thing. For both parties here now, you're not going to win because the artists are part of the class that now believe that they get to tell you, the viewer, what's important.
Yeah.
And the filmmakers are the ones who approve it. So the average person hates both of you and just wants you to make entertainment without being preachy and stupid. Mm-hmm. So we're not going to cry for the studio for getting boycotted by art nerds. And we're not going to cry about art nerds losing their job. We're just not. Like one day, so AI Brett will sit here and I will be out of a job. And guess what? I won't cry for that either.
I think we did get a comment recently.
We've been getting multiples of
You're
those.
going to get replaced by AI.
They said Tim doesn't care about AI replacing people and said you should talk about that. They'll probably leave a comment on this one today. Well, when that happens and they turn me into an AI Brett, I'll be very sad. And then I'll go back to working maintenance at an apartment complex, I guess.
I also just don't agree with that. I'm always going to be more interested in listening to podcasts of real people.
Well, I think there is an amount of if it's real, it's going to seem more. It's going to have more meaning to people. I think that there's a certain amount of people people look at something that has meaning or something about actual humans as having more meaning than not.
Okay, so people were saying that eventually with the rise of AI that like you're going to start using that as like a marketing ploy, like created by real people. If I read that, I would just call you a dork.
In 2024, yes, but maybe in 2034,
maybe
it'll have a different meaning.
Yes.
There was also this girl going viral because she is licensing her face.
Before we get to that, I want to point out I had this article last week that we never got around to get into. Poll: surprising number of consumers believe AI can make more interesting movies than TV shows and humans. You know why? Because people are sick of listening to whiny actors and whiny creatives and whiny studios. Just let the droids make it, they say.
But also, the novelty of AI art is going to wear off at some point, and it'll need to exist on its own merits.
22% believe artificial intelligence technology can deliver TV shows and movies that are more appealing than human efforts. Well, if you looked at most of the garbage coming out today, you might believe that, right?
If you watched Madam Web, then you might agree.
It says, according to the poll, backing for AI content was highest amongst millennials at 30% and Gen Z at 25%. I imagine the Gen Z number to be higher, honestly. Like, I would imagine that the closer you get to growing up entrenched in technology, the less struggle you would see with the concept of technology becoming more data-driven rather than person-driven.
I think Gen Z has more ethical hang-ups than prior generations, so they might feel more sympathy with the artists in that regard.
Interesting.
But if you polled them about using AI to complete their school assignments, it would be a different story.
Did you see the story the other day where a professor offered his students amnesty for if they admitted that they used ChatGPT for their finals? 23 of the 25 did. And then so he's like, and the other two probably just knew they did it well enough that they weren't going to get caught.
The other two were smart enough to know there's actually no way to check whether someone used AI to write their assignment.
Okay. So now we had this lady, right?
There was this video going viral from a woman who licenses her face to different companies, and they AI generate advertisements for their products using her in her car, talking about this and not blinking. I don't know. It's somewhat convincing on first glance.
Let's watch the Obama one. The Obama one's more fun.
Some people are losing their minds because the video below would be AI generated. I'm also a deep fake, and you should take care when you watch a video on the internet. See you soon.
Yeah, that was not believable at all. If you play the girl's video where she's advertising
of you are applying. So let me get this straight. You guys are telling me that when you're out of the house for hours, you're comfortable walking around with all that stanky body odor that's been building up on you all day? What's even crazier is that some of you are applying deodorant on top of that odor, which is honestly probably making it worse. Let me tell you what I do. It's a little hygiene hack. My friend told me about these cloths.
Her not blinking is the creepiest part.
They were originally formulated
for
firefighters to remove
okay, she blinked once.
off their skin,
there was one.
Which means
okay, this is the thing. When you can see the whites of the eyes on either side, she's a crazy person.
Yeah. She looks a little
these
crazy.
wipes don't play games like other wipes on the market. They are antibacterial and actually lift and remove sweat, dirt, and odors, making these the one and only total refresh shower on the go
seriously, the only reason that we're like, oh, this looks fake is because we've seen the progression. If you put that in front of someone 5 years ago and said that's computer generated, they would say holy and a whole bunch of expletives. So they would not believe it. Like 10 years ago, if you showed that to someone, this is done by a computer, they would be like, I cannot believe that computers can do that. That is incredible. Because 10 years ago, the Final Fantasy movie was cutting edge computer generation. You know.
So he says her voice alone in the pacing give it away. Here's the thing, though: most people consume media extremely passively, and they're not watching it that closely. It says this is not all AI. This is the community notes. The person in the video is real, and you can hire her to make videos from Fiverr. The video was generated by AI, indeed, by the service that licensed her appearance and trained the AI model to generate such videos. So it's rendering over the mouth and the eyes.
Right. Yeah, but still.
Yep.
It's not as clockable as the Obama video. And Sora is releasing more videos of their technology.
Let's look at some of these videos. Again, my biggest problem with the Sora stuff is it's always at like 60 to 120 frames a second, and you very rarely see stuff at like 24 frames.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just impressive.
Well, they say everyone has something unique about them, something that sets them apart. It's just in my case, you know, it's quite obvious what that thing is. I am literally filled with hot air. Yeah, living like this has its challenges. Windy days, for one, are particularly
This would be a movie that came out in 2007. It absolutely would have.
Yes.
troublesome.
The Chum Scrubber.
Or there was the one time my girlfriend insisted I go to the cactus store to get my Uncle Jerry a wedding present. Ugh. What do I love most about my predicament? The perspective it gives me. You know, I get to see the world differently. I float above the mundane and the ordinary. I see things a different way from everyone else. Yeah, and I feel like it's because of that perspective I'm reminded every day that life is fragile. We're all just a pinprick
it's
away
convenient that
from
there's
deflation.
no human face.
So I try to live life with a lightness, a buoyancy, a joie de vivre. I got a lot of ideas keeping this thing full.
Okay.
I mean, it's intentional that they didn't give him a human face. It's more difficult.
Here's some more videos here. It's going to be very enticing for people to be able to create elaborate, deep, establishing shots with rich locations and visuals without having to go on site. I mean, Marvel doesn't go on site anymore. They just film everything in their stupid studio, and they don't actually go anywhere.
But people don't like that.
No, exactly. But they're not changing.
People don't like that they
It's
can
breakdancing
tell.
garbage.
That's
Cool.
all. It's only that people don't like that they can tell. We are in the uncanny valley time, and within a year or two, all of that is going to be gone. Come on.
Hey, I was looking at you, kid.
It's 100% in the uncanny valley time. It's going to be perfect in a year. 2 years tops.
Why is there a car in the ocean?
It's swimming.
Salt soda.
I want to try it.
Yum.
Hot dog water. Okay.
Actually, hot dog water's a thing now.
Yeah, we
Yeah, we
talked
talked
about
about
it.
Oh, God.
Fred Durst would be proud.
I think that TikTok brainwashes people because you have no control over whether you're watching these videos. At least on Twitter, it's a text-based platform where you're looking at people's ideas and opinions, and you have a choice whether to click on a video and play it. TikTok is just like fully putting you in a passive position where you are getting brainwashed by video content nonstop. And I think that this has like a similar effect on people.
Yep. All right. Let's go to Superchats.
Okay, Corey Anderson said, I'm laid up with a back problem caused by 19 years of naval service. I'm high on Percocet. I'm going to try not to have Mary say the phrase.
What's the phrase?
High on Percocet?
Whatever you're doing, bro, don't take too many of them.
Hope
And
you're
when the
okay.
prescription runs out, just let it be. Don't ask for more.
Shane H. Wilder said, damn it, Cody's back. Here we go again.
Yep.
Corey
Two
Anderson
more.
said, Phil, I know you take your job seriously as you should, but I think if you and Ian made a folk duo playing nothing but covers like Me First and the Gimme Gimmes would be really awesome and hilarious.
That you might be right. I don't think we're ever going to find out.
You should make your own version of Tenacious D with Ian.
No.
Yes.
John Quixote said Kyler Lee, who played Supergirl's sister on the CW.
Shyler.
Shyler Lee
I think, yeah.
starred in a movie called Kickboxing Academy where she played the girlfriend of her IRL brother. And yes, there is kissing. Banjo intensifies. Hi, Phil.
Wait, was it directed at me like I'm still like I'm the
No, I put it in
guy?
parentheses.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
That's
Hello.
super weird.
I mean, so in Dexter, Michael C. Hall ended up marrying Jennifer Carpenter, who plays his sister in that show. Granted, they're adoptive brother and sister, but that must have been weird. There's other such examples of that where they.
What was the one in? There was one in Game of Thrones, right?
I don't remember.
Or
I mean, everybody was. I mean, at least in the story, everybody was.
We talked about a story. It was like a real brother and sister in.
Oh yeah, I don't remember.
House
who
of the
it was,
Dragon
though.
or something.
Yeah, I don't remember who it was though.
Weirdos.
But you're right. Let's hold off on the rest. Let's come back after the fact. Tiffany Gomez is back in the news, is she not?
Yes, Tiffany Gomez. You may know her as the crazy plane lady, who was totally right, by the way. She has decided to finally get revenge on the media because they targeted her unfairly, and they were literally stalking her outside of her home at the time that she was going viral. And I pointed this out. The Daily Mail literally doxed her home address and posted pictures of her from outside her home and were posted up outside her house for like a month, if not more. And she just finally decided she had enough and she wanted to talk about it on Twitter. So here was her first post of, she shows an envelope sent to her from a correctional center from a prisoner.
Is Lovelock Correctional Center a real place?
I guess so. It's from Lovelock, Nevada.
Okay.
Got another
everyone
prison
falls
letter
in love
today.
with Lovelock.
She said, got another prison letter today. Thank you, New York Post and Daily Mail, for doxing the hell out of me. He does have nice handwriting, though. ...
I love the idea that they film Lovelock Down in Lovelock, Nevada.
Well, they have Love After Lockdown, right?
Love After Lockdown.
Lockup.
Is it Love
I don't
After
know.
Lockup? But they should film that in Lovelock, Nevada. That makes perfect sense.
But at least he's in prison, so he can't come after her.
Yeah, but he's gonna get out someday.
Right. But he knows her.
Theoretically.
He knows her home address. This is a prisoner who knows her home address, and I would be extremely off put by that as well. So she continued. She said, one of my fave media moments, New York Post hired a freelancer to stalk my every move. After a week plus of him sitting in front of my house in a monster green Jeep, he decided to file a police report.
And why would he do that?
He said in his police report, I'm a freelance photographer in Dallas. On August 14th, 2023, I accepted an assignment from the New York Post. The subject was Tiffany Gomez. The assignment was to start on August 15th, 2023. My assignment was to take the place of another photographer on the street in front of her home. I went to the address about 4 p.m. August 14th. As I was not familiar with that neighborhood, I did not have my professional gear with me. After I sent the client iPhone photos of the home from the street, the client asked me to spend a few hours on location that same evening. This is the New York Post. I arrived after 5:30 p.m. and parked my Jeep so I could see the property's driveway.
He's got to get a less conspicuous car. That's his real problem.
I was legally parked on a public right-of-way and did not block private driveways. I remained on public property the entire time. Around 7 p.m., I saw in my peripheral vision what I believed were first responder red lights reflected in the window of, I assume, Tiffany's house, as if their vehicles were driving down blank street name. On second glance, I realized these were not first responder lights, but in fact, a red laser pointer being pointed in my direction by a white male teenager standing in front of the windows of Tiffany's house.
The local kids just want to terrorize him. It's hilarious.
He was about, I think that this is referring to someone who was in Tiffany's house.
Okay.
He was about 5'5", medium build, blondish curly hair.
That could have been
wearing
me.
A white t-shirt with a Texas Tech logo. According to Dallas CID, the property is owned by, that's redacted because it's Tiffany's house, As can be seen in the photograph, the perp made no attempt to hide himself behind a curtain. Rather, he just stood there looking directly at me while wiggling the laser pointer.
It's that type of precociousness. You know what it makes me think about? You know, in TV shows and movies, whenever like a young kid like interacts with a grown person, they go, "Hi, Mister." Has anybody ever actually seen a kid call an adult they don't know Mister?
I mean, when I was a kid.
Did that happen?
I was young, yeah.
This is just the epitome of journalist entitlement, that you think it's okay you were posted up outside someone's home to take pictures of them from inside their windows, and you feel violated when they point something back at you. He said,
a sniper scope.
I tell you what, my house is not like a house like anyone else, like on the road or whatever. So that kind of stuff, I mean, it's going to happen. Go ahead. Anyways, it makes me so mad.
He continued, I could have easily been blinded or my camera sensor damaged. The editor at the New York Post asked me not to do anything immediately in order to avoid, quote, becoming the story. The next morning, he advised me to file a police complaint as soon as my assignment was completed.
Malcolm Flex says, wow, this is stupid of them, filing a police report for the damage that could have happened if a laser pointer wasn't being shined through the window. Just odd.
The journalists cry out as they strike you. Seriously.
I just want to write this hit piece about you. Why are you so upset?
It's true.
I'm just trying to stalk you. What are you so mad about?
At least the TMZ reporters are chads who don't complain when their stuff gets broken.
I think it might have been one of her neighbors. She said my neighbors were so over it, so he goes and files a police report while he's stalking me and taking photos of everyone on our street like they asked for that. So really, she wasn't the only victim here, because by doxing her, you're doxing everyone around her as well. I thought it was seriously out of line at the time that the Daily Mail just posted pictures of her house and then taking pictures of her inside her windows, like not even coming out for interviews, just trying to mind her business. It was crazy.
Yep.
And she really didn't even do anything to justify that. It's not like she was some kind of public enemy. All she did was have a mental breakdown in public.
This is my favorite response, where a dude just goes, unless the guy had an illegal laser, commercially sold laser pointers in the 3 to 5 MW range have zero reports of causing any type of damage to people's CCD camera. Those are like hobby cameras, can be had for $80. And then he just goes and just owns the dude with facts and logic.
Owned.
Pwned.
Destroyed. I think that Tiffany didn't have, she didn't deserve to have that much ire thrown at her. I feel like there was kind of a moral outrage over her. People were complaining about her using bad language on the plane.
Yep.
Seriously, as if we don't have bigger problems to worry about. There are people getting punched in the face in coordinated attacks in New York City right now. And Tiffany Gomez has one little mental breakdown on a plane.
She has a mentee bee.
She has a little mentee bee, and you're having a moral outrage over it.
I did see somebody equate it to this. They said, remember when she said that MFR is not real and she's talking about all this? What if she was one of the early cases of this? Rare disorder that makes people think they're seeing demonic faces like a creature in a horror movie.
Yeah, I saw something about that yesterday.
Could have been true.
Well, what is the rare disorder? Schizophrenia?
Oh, I can't pronounce it.
It sounds like schizophrenia to me.
Prosopagnosia. I'm not pronouncing it.
Yeah, apparently you actually do see faces morph and stuff. So that's not schizophrenia. Schizophrenia tends to be voices.
I mean,
understand correctly.
Schizophrenia means you hallucinate both visually and
is it really?
And audibly. It doesn't matter which one it is.
It's a rare disorder that makes people think they're seeing demon-like faces everywhere, with people's eyes and mouths stretched out and ears painted in deep grooves. Yes, but are they real? Are they real? That is the question.
Those MFers aren't real is the thing. Most people assumed that Tiffany was just drunk.
Yes.
Or possibly
Xanax.
Possibly on drugs.
Maybe.
Look, she never clarified, though, and I really don't even think she should have to.
No. Not at all. It's no one's business.
I mean, a lot of people didn't believe so. Andy, who used to work here, has face blindness, where he can't recognize faces.
Oh, yeah. What is that called? There's some kind of name for that.
Yeah, but he has face blindness. So, a lot of times, in the early days when he started working here, they would send him to pick up people at the airport. And he's like, that's a certain level of hell for a guy who can't recognize faces to have to pick up people from the airport.
That is, man.
We love Andy. We love Andy, and we miss Andy.
Well, he knows your face, right? Like if he's interacted with someone a bunch, he knows your face, right?
No, I mean he picks you up by your voice, and
That's insane.
in other ways your brain fills in the gaps.
I cannot even imagine. That's crazy. You know, there's people who
Gen Z will have that, but that's just they won't make eye contact with anyone. They won't know what
True.
anyone looks like.
Well, there's there are people who say that they can't visualize like an apple in their mind, or they can't rotate objects in their mind.
That doesn't make any sense to me. People that like, I assume they are telling the truth, but I don't even consider myself like a visual artist. I find it difficult to come up with like concepts for covers and stuff, and for like shirts, and I tend to work with the artist a lot to get to the stuff that I'm looking for. And even that being the case, I can still vividly see an apple in my head.
Yeah.
And I see it with like small imperfections. I see the shadows on it. I know where the light is coming from, like the whole 9 yards. Like, so it's so foreign to me to hear people say that.
Do you think it's an IQ deviation, or is it just you're born with it or not?
I don't think that it has anything to do with IQ. I think that there's a lot of variation that has happened in evolutionarily when it comes to human beings, and as long as it doesn't lead you to end up dead, then it's okay that it works. Like people might have different. Like there might be different ways that people's brains are wired, right? And I'm not saying that I know this or not. And evolutionarily, that makes sense just so long as the result is survival, right? So I do think that humans can be pretty different in the way they conceptualize things and the way that they interact with the world around them. So,
They were talking about fear of long words in the chat. That's the fear of long words.
Say it.
I'm not saying that. Somebody else can say it. The point is, the fear of long words is an extremely long word.
Okay, I'm gonna try. Hippopotomonstrosis That was not well.
Also, this one, which is the fear of palindromes is a palindrome.
I like that.
Yes.
Do you think that Tiffany was just lying for attention?
I think that she danced artfully around the idea that she might have had something to drink or might have taken a Xanax before doing it.
There's something embarrassing that she didn't want to admit to.
I do.
Listen, so there's a friend of mine. The name is going to remain nameless, but this man licked a woman on a plane, and it was international flight. So like when they landed, he got like picked up by the cops. And like he was subject to maritime law, and he almost went to jail forever, and he can't go to that country anymore. But like stuff that happens on planes, it like people get weird when they get drunk and on drugs and stuff like that.
You're
It changes.
In a tin can at how many thousands of feet?
Yeah, like so you have, and especially someone like these are assumptions, but Tiffany Gomez seems like she's a professional from the corporate world. Probably is not consistently doing drugs and consistently taking pills. Takes a pill, has too many drinks, and next thing you know, she is on a different planet. You know,
I mean,
because that happens. Believe me, I don't drink anymore.
The first time that I went overseas, I remember nothing from that trip because I did so much like Dilaudid and Vicodin on that trip that it's completely gone, the whole thing. But no bad behavior. I just, I landed.
You kept to yourself.
And I took
You didn't
off.
lick anyone.
I did not.
You didn't accuse anyone of being fake.
I vaguely remember the various TV shows I watched in like increments of specific episodes, and the rest of it is just a blur. But that's just because, like I said, I used to think I loved traveling. No, I just used to love doing drugs while traveling. Now I don't like traveling.
But you
as
said
much.
you like airports.
I like airports at night.
I just think airports these days especially put people into this primal anxiety that they cannot handle, and they start fighting each other.
The best interpretation of now is like the dad who needs to be there 5 hours early lest they miss their flight.
Yeah.
Dad's, it's like the flight's at 3 p.m. and he wakes you up at 4 a.m.
Everyone get in the car
to get there on time.
Okay.
It is what it is.
Let's read super chats.
Do it, and then we're gonna hang out here till 5.
Corey Anderson said, Phil, All That Remains website lists 2 shows in May. When will y'all update with new tour dates? Come to Baltimore. Mary, will you see All That Remains if they play Baltimore? Let's go with the first question.
How are we going to get there?
New tour dates.
I know how we're not going to get there. We're not going to get there by boat.
New tour dates will be when the headliner announces for this coming tour in the summertime. So we're waiting for someone else. That's unfortunately because of this great opportunity that we are super excited about, and I wish I could tell you about right now. But because we've been offered this tour that's awesome, and we're super excited about. We have to wait until they make they have to tell us when we can do stuff. We're totally on their time clock, so they run the show. We are super fortunate to be a part of this, and we're going to listen to them profusely.
We got a $20 one there from Crispy Lake Transport LLC.
PCC, the song of the day is Workin' Day and Night by Michael Jackson from Off the Wall album.
I mean, look, the king of pop is the king of pop, and he was never found guilty. So.
There you go.
As for the second question, me going to Baltimore, especially alone.
In this economy?
With the knockout game?
I would put you guys on the guest list if you decided you wanted to come.
Haven't you seen The Wire?
I don't know about all that. It's a tough sell. But I guess if you were closer than Baltimore. Stephen Bourdlamay, I'm sorry if I said that wrong, said hail to the commander.
Hello. Cheers.
Corey Anderson said, Phil, how do you decide on openers for shows? Any crazy tour stories? Have you ever played the Norva? Is there a hot tub in the green room?
Yes, we played the Norva. Yes, there is a hot tub in the green room.
But only if Destiny is there.
And Destiny's just there 24/7.
Asking to not be bothered. You know what it is? He was on his own worldwide privacy tour like Meghan and Harry.
Okay.
Leave me alone here in this public setting.
Such a clown.
Crazy tour stories.
So I'm not going to get into crazy tour stories here because the crazy fun tour stories are not the tour stories that you should be telling on YouTube.
Okay.
So there's that. And then what was the other part?
How do you decide on openers for shows?
So that usually depends on what tour it is. So if we're headlining a tour, we'll go ahead and put out a release to people in the industry that are booking agents and say, hey, look, we're going out on tour. This is the time frame. If there's anybody that's interested in going, submit, blah, blah, blah. And then the other bands will go ahead and say, hey, we're looking to do this. And then they'll send a list of reasons why we should take them. So their label is going to pay for advertisement. They have a hot new single. They just put out a video. They have a new record. All of those things go into as whether or not we're going to take a band. And also, if there's anyone in the band that is friends with someone or likes a band or whatever, that'll help. But it's still, at the end of the day, it does become a business decision because we try to keep the margins as tight as possible. And if a band's going to get on the tour, they have to be bringing something to the tour, which actually by bringing something means giving people an extra reason to come to the show. So there you go.
Okay. Tacky Flatty said, Phil, spill socialist oil or squash fascist bugs.
For managed democracy.
I didn't get a
Helldivers.
word of that. Okay. Nate said, what do I have to do to get Ian as Captain Jack?
I'm telling you, Ian would be great. He's tall. Ian could play
Tell him to
Captain
send
Jack.
an audition tape.
I legitimately, that is not even ironically, I'm not 100% sure how well Ian is at acting, but I do think that if there's a person that I'm aware of that could play that guy, I think Ian would be great.
Just think of the way Ian turns his head. It's
yes.
perfect.
I like it. Yeah.
It's great.
Corey Anderson said, Mary, I assume you understand that most super chats you refuse to read are tongue-in-cheek and you don't want to be clipped, but is there a price of the super chat that you would read it begrudgingly?
You can't put a price on your beliefs.
That's a good question.
How much is your dignity worth, Mary?
It's got to be a ridiculous amount. It's got to be an amount where
depends what you consider ridiculous.
I mean, really ridiculous.
Sent from one person, 500.
What's the maximum that they do? Because there's got to be a maximum that they'll allow.
I don't know.
I think the highest we've gotten in one super chat is 500.
I think so.
So let's just put it at that. Shane H.
Love
Wilder.
to get that again.
Shane H. Wilder. Are you okay?
Yes. I'm good. Continue.
Oh boy. Well, it looks like I got to pick things up here. Shane H. Wilder.
We're good. No, we're good.
Okay.
We're professionals.
Right.
We're good.
Apparently not. And you guys really should give me access to it over here so that way I can jump in.
Yeah, okay.
You got
Shane H. Wilder said Rob Zombie's Pirates of the Caribbean would be crazy. If Steve Buscemi was cast, he would be dead by the end, and we know Hollywood needs their sequels.
Sketch Therapy says the largest you can give is $999.
So max it out. Max it out, boys. If you're going to get married to say something untoward, you're going to have to max it out.
Sorry. I'm sorry. It was just... That knocked me out. Not
Somebody
that
said
Jon
I had a
Stewart.
stroke. I did not have a stroke. What are you talking about? It's just rude, dude. It's just
Okay.
rude.
Not that Jon Stewart said Ryan Reynolds as Jack Sparrow. Question mark. No.
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 He's too normal. Corey Anderson, Yurashima Otaru said panicky males exist in reality. Girl bosses don't.
There's no girl bosses in the real world?
Nah, there are real girl bosses.
There are.
Look, I saw that chick from Theranos. She was a girl boss.
Hell yeah.
They have penises, though.
I love Elizabeth Holmes.
Yep.
Women love that stuff. Women, I loved The Dropout.
Yeah.
Like I want to watch more shows about psychotic women. Corey Anderson said, for show 1000, will you do it live? Like at a brewery? Maybe Harper's Ferry Brewing. That is the only one I know of in your neck of the woods.
I'm going to do it from a crack house. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do episode 1000
We're going to
from
do
a crack house.
geocaching where the crisis actors can geocache their way to us.
If there's any
And we'll
proof,
just be in an abandoned warehouse.
there's any proof that we have it too good here in America, it's that geocaching is a thing at all.
Yeah.
You know? Okay, so yeah, like a brewery wouldn't be that difficult for me, but yeah, take me to a crack house. That's where we'll do episode 1000. What could go wrong?
Yeah.
What could go wrong?
I'm sure there are plenty of those. We'll figure something out.
I'm not even going to say what I could think of that would go wrong.
It's that or the whorehouse. One of the two. You go to both.
The whorehouse is actually better.
We'll simulcast from both. Mary can go to one and I'll go to the other.
You have to go to the whorehouse. Mary can go to
the crack house.
The crack house.
Fair enough.
Nate said, I'll produce the film if Ian is the male lead, Lana is the leading lady, and Phil is the antagonist. 10 out of 10 on IMDb.
Yes, of course.
I would love to see that. Okay, Jake Martin said, industry professionals are clueless. The audience doesn't hate female leads. We hate obstinate, undeserving leads who are portrayed as a caricature of masculinity instead of an actual strong woman.
Yes, that is true. I was talking with Mike Harlow on his YouTube channel last night, and one of the ways that I described it, I said the reason it worked so well in television back in the day is what you would have traditionally is a woman who is very good at her job but has a messy personal life. And that's relatable to people. You've got everything.
Sex in the City, right?
Yeah, but even in like cop shows, or even in things like she's a detective, I can overlook the fact that she's taking down guys 10 times her size, whatever. Hollywood takes their liberties. But as long as you give me a character, so she's good at her job, she made detective in however many years, she's a great professional. But when she goes home, she always dates the wrong guy. She gets cheated on. She makes all these mistakes. She finds love in all the wrong places. That's a very relatable story that both makes her human and allows you to girl boss. Mm-hmm. Girl boss. And that worked for about 20 years. But then what they started to do is they did away with the morality of sex anyways. So then it didn't matter if she had a messy personal life because there's no value put on actually having a good personal life.
Yeah. That's a good point. Mm-hmm. Shane H. Wilder said, cringe, I lost a brain cell. I losted a brain cell. I is stupider now.
You and me both, my friend, every day. Every time we have somebody on here, I'm like, look, you've been on IRL? Yeah, they go for the hot. They talk smart there. We don't do that here. We don't do that here. That's not our thing.
Corey Anderson said, bet the cringe girl smells like patchouli.
That is probably true.
I don't know what people have against patchouli, though. Like, I don't mind the smell of patchouli. You should bathe as well. And also, he said, if heaven doesn't have dogs, I don't want to go.
Oh. I heard all dogs go to heaven. They even made a movie about it.
I was so terrified of that movie as a kid.
Really?
It was awful. I don't know why. It was like Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Okay.
For me. they like showed this brutal scene where I remember like a dog getting run over or something in the movie. Made me cry. Tacti Plati said, Brett, I unironically really like Transformers too.
So do I. I don't care what anybody says. I love those Shia LaBeouf Transformers movies, all of them.
I love those movies with Megan Fox in them.
Yes.
Justin Schwab said, I work at Hidden Door Company if you're still interested.
I want a hidden door. I want a door that's a bookcase that I can just pull on the book and the door opens.
So this guy is saying he just makes hidden doors.
I hope so. Like that's what I want.
You should put a hidden door in the thing there, and that's how you come in every day. Like
Such a good idea.
every day you come out, kind of the way that like Mr. Rogers comes in and changes his shoes and stuff.
Yep.
You can come in and sit down,
I love the idea of
and
just
Mary could just be looking there like this.
Well, I saw the other
sick
day that like Home Depot is selling like bookcase doors, and I'm like, yes.
Are they believable though?
I mean, who really cares? I'm not rich enough to be able to afford the believable one. I'll settle for an unbelievable
$20
one.
from Operation Outstand something. He said, Phil, it's such a shame when bands break up too soon. Do you think the Lone Rangers will ever get back together? I'd go to that show.
The Lone Rangers?
That's the band.
I have no idea who. If there is a band called the Lone Rangers, I'm not aware of them.
Operation Outstanding in Field.
Sorry.
Shane H. Wilder said, Maundy comes from the Latin word for commandment and is used interchangeably with holy on Holy Thursday. Okay. Corey Anderson said, Phil, being a rock star gives you access to a lot of women and the ability to party like you're in a Motley Crue in the 80s. How do you fight that urge?
Well, I mean, I didn't for a while. I mean, you know, I've been in this business for a while. But when it does come down to like, there's only certain amount of like value in it. Like it's only fun for a little while. It does get very old very quickly. So
got another $20 from Corey Anderson. I just want to let you know I love you guys. I look forward to your show every day. You've created a community here that is amazing. Shane, Bucky, Tacti, DCNC, Cody, Olivia Claire, Pat, Sketch, Rhaegar, Gordon. Love y'all.
Woo! Look at that. That's so good.
So much positivity.
So good.
You guys are so much
They're all
nicer than the
singing-
IRL chat.
Literally everyone is nicer than the IRL.
Yeah, I really do
I guess
think.
that's not saying much.
I think the IRL chat is at least 60 to 70% hate watchers.
Yes.
you know?
Really?
And I think the people that are actually enjoying it, that are in the chat, like they don't say anything unless they've got something positive to say. Whereas like everybody that's just hate watching is just like flaming, you know?
They're like discussing the merits of me wanting a bookcase door. Brett just wants
What
it for
is
the,
wrong with
Brett
that?
just wants it for the novelty. Unless you're a supervillain, the reason you have a bookcase
They're
door
mad
is
you
the
don't have
novelty.
a secret lair.
Yeah.
You could have a bookcase door to your bathroom.
Well, yeah.
What does it
Okay.
matter?
So like my room has a door into the room and then a separate door that connects to the bathroom, right? Because it's got two doors, right? So you just put the bookcase door on the one that goes out of the room and leave the regular one on the door that goes to the bathroom. So when people come in, they never realize that you can get out another way.
Yeah. I see all said hello, Mary. Hello, Brett. Hello, Phil. So are you guys moving to the new studio or are you staying where you're at?
I don't know if there's space at the new studio from what I've seen being built, but for now, we will be here unless we're at that crack house that we were talking about earlier.
Basically, we have no clue.
And I do love the idea that here one day it's like party while the boss is away because there's nothing else going on and just throw ragers
I mean, that would be nice.
every day.
Yeah.
Like,
Corey Anderson said, Mary, how long should people date before getting married? If you have been dating for 3 years and aren't married, is that a red flag? I don't know. 3 years and not married.
What about 3 years and proposed?
I don't know. I mean, certainly there is definitely a cutoff point. But a lot of people go that whole time and they don't even talk about it, which is the weirdest part to me.
Then you're Andrew Huberman. He's like, I'm going to propose, I swear. I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
I'll be there one day.
This can be headed off just by being like clear in the beginning, like, hey, I'm dating with a purpose. That's all you have to say. Like I'm dating with intent.
Yeah.
Right? The intent isn't that I'm like not looking to just date. I'm not looking to blah, blah, have fun or whatever. If you make that clear to someone and then they say they're not, that just means don't expect them to ever be like, or to get to the point where they're going to be like, hey, I'm not, or now I want to get married. It's best to be open and honest with your intentions and clear about them as well. And not for nothing, but like women are terrible about this. Like women they're not clear about their intentions, or they'll say they want something and then it'll change and stuff. And the reason I say that is there's this old adage that's like, men get married expecting the woman to stay the same. Women get married expecting the man to change. And that causes a lot of friction in relationships. And it's an old adage because it happens frequently. So just be open and clear with your intention. And you don't end up sitting there dating a guy for 5 years wondering, when's he going to ask me to marry him? Well, how come you don't know?
So you didn't address it at the beginning.
Yeah, because
That's
you didn't
the
talk
issue.
about 100%.
Yeah.
You didn't talk about what you're looking for out of a relationship. Like, communicate with your partner.
They're like, I just saw a piece on, I think, Evie about forever girlfriends or something.
Yeah, don't.
You only end up being a forever girlfriend because you didn't ever even address the idea of commitment in the relationship,
Well, and
right?
we were talking recently about how like men, like especially like young, like the guys aren't even like establishing what the relationship is. Even Andrew Huberman, the most successful person in the world, and nobody's talking about, is this exclusive?
Yeah,
are we this? Are we that?
so embarrassing.
Everyone's too afraid to have those
These
conversations.
are people in their 40s acting like they're talking about going steady in 5th grade. Like it's embarrassing.
I ended
also,
the poll.
Like, I think that a woman is going to become a forever girlfriend if she is having premarital sex. That's the long and short of it. Honestly, that is like a great way to have a complacent boyfriend who doesn't want to make any moves.
Yes, that is 100%.
So
why buy the cow when you get them?
I mean, it's literally it's a phrase for a reason, because there is a lot of truth in it.
I did end the poll, ladies and gentlemen. Somebody asked, 81% of you would prefer the panicky male lead as opposed to the girl boss lead.
Not surprising.
Not surprising. Many such cases.
Tacti Plati said, Phil, with sign past this, you're in range.
Yeah, he's saying that if I have a sign at my property that says if you are past this sign, you are within range. And really, because of the way my property is set up, the sign is just like, if you can see this, you're on my property, and that's bad. So, anyways.
Shane H. Wilder said, just because you can take photos from the public into someone's private residence does not mean you should.
Yeah.
Be glad it was just a laser pointer.
I'm not going to lie. Sometimes in the twilight hours of the evening, and I think about like what I'd be doing if I wasn't doing this, I was like, wish I could be a private investigator.
That's Brett's power fantasy.
It really is. Like, I would like, as somebody who's not inherently,
You're all dirty.
As somebody who's not inherently nosy, there's something I like about the idea of just being nosy for work, but not caring any other.
It means you don't get personally invested.
Exactly.
You would make the perfect PI for that reason.
Because I don't actually care.
Yeah, and my fantasy similar to that is being a producer of a trashy reality TV show. Those are our fantasy jobs.
Maybe look, like I don't know, like if Tim, like I said, the feds could raid this place any day, and then I'll be out of a job. Maybe I should look into getting my PI license.
Wait, you need a license for that?
Oh yeah, you have to be licensed to do that.
Interesting.
Yep.
Alex Macon Beds, and finishing his first novel on the side, said, we just won local pub quiz. One question was, who won the Oscar for best male side character? And points carried us to victory. Robert W. Hi, Phil.
Hi.
Best male side character in what?
Yeah, I don't know. Gordon Shumway said, Mary, how can you be talking about going to Baltimore when there's a genocide going on in Gaza?
There's people dying every single day.
I love that meme.
It's just our personal meme of like making fun of people who care about world events.
Yeah,
because we're so much better than them, right?
You care about,
It's so cynical.
you
It's
care
hilarious.
about people? You fucking loser.
We've been extra cynical this week.
Yes.
I feel it.
Mine's probably because I'm sick. Mary's is because it's a Thursday.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you're sick. That's great. I'm gonna be sick.
No,
for all of
I'm since over it.
Good.
I'm since over it.
Shane H. Wilder said, damn it, Brett, you broke Mary.
A little bit.
Squeeblop Nudist High Priest said face blindness prosopagnosia.
That's what it is, prosopagnosia.
Familiarity alone doesn't matter. Usually need familiar face, place, and voice combination, or I could walk past my wife.
There you go.
That's crazy. Corey Anderson, Justin Schwab said, look up Murphy's Door Inc. in Utah.
Let's
Okay,
go.
you know the place. Manic Mustache said, I suffer from prosopagnosia. You ID people via scent and voice. People never believe me when I explain this. Seems like a lot of you. How's that even possible?
They did. There's a couple of good detective shows that have done really fun episodes with characters that have it. One of them is which this poor guy's a witness to a crime, and he spends the whole episode terrified because this guy who he thinks is coming to kill him, he can't. Like his old boss is out to get him, and he can't identify him, so he's just constantly terrified.
Hey.
Thank you.
There we go.
Pat the Plumber said, thanks, Corey, and thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Shane H. Wilder said, oh, thanks, Corey, but is that the meds talking? LOL. Yeah, who's to say? Nate said, dude just asked if Phil had a hoe phase.
Who did?
When he asked about...
Oh, yeah. I mean, he essentially
And Phil
did.
said yes.
I mean...
Corey Anderson said, Shane, the meds are lowering my inhibitions, if I'm being honest.
Oh, yeah, like Percocets, Vicodin, Dilaudid. You'll say
I don't think those are the meds that he's on.
who was it that was saying earlier this? They were on pain meds because they were... Is that what they were
I
talking
think it was
about?
Corey Anderson.
Wasn't that what he was talking about?
I'm not sure.
If that's what they're talking about, you know, it does. It gets you to say stuff you wouldn't normally say. I don't recommend it. I don't.
Yeah.
Pat the Plumber said, can we all agree that the Commander and HCB is the best Timcast lineup? No, it's me and Brett.
Yep, sorry, you're wrong. Here at this show.
Nope.
Yeah.
Corey Anderson said, I married my wife after dating her for a year, and I spent 6 months of that time deployed. May makes 18 years of marriage.
Nice.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
You can know, like, if you're dating with intention, you'll know, like, at least guys will. I don't know about women, but I know guys will be like, all right, yeah. Because, like, studies kind of have been like, when guys are, like, ready to settle down, the woman that they're with is, like, there's the woman. For the most part, like, if you're not constantly on the guy's ass and nagging him, and sometimes guys deserve it, sometimes they've earned it. I'm not saying that I'm not saying it's one-sided, but like guys are easier to please than women are. Like guys, you just kind of got to be there and be cool with them. Men are like, you need to do stuff to make your woman happy. So that's just the way that it is. It's the way it's supposed to be too. Like it is this way because that's what works for humanity. So just because you don't like it doesn't mean you're right. It means you're freaking wrong.
Phil, is that the theory that a man will reach a state of readiness and the woman he chooses to settle down with, it's almost completely arbitrary?
I think that
like whoever he's with at that time, when
or whoever he
decides
next
that,
runs
yeah.
into
well, the
in
thing
an
is,
elevator.
if you're with a woman for 6 months, if I stay with a woman for like 6-8 months, that's a significant like thing because it's really easy for me to be like, all right, I don't like that, right? And so, like, granted, I'm not in the same predicament that most men are because of the band and stuff like that. It's different for me, and so I think that men generally will put up. Most men will probably put up with more than I will put up with, and so like they'll be like, I'm okay with this relationship, and this is probably the best thing I'm gonna get. So I'm gonna put my hooks in, and this is my woman, and I'm gonna grin and bear it. I think that that's generally the way that men act.
That's not very romantic.
No, it's not.
It's very cynical.
I don't.
Pragmatic is a better
I mean, I
term.
thought, not cynical, I guess, pragmatic, but I mean, I thought, like, I've been told men are actually the romantic
Yes,
sex.
I agree with that.
But that seems to contradict with what you
They'll
just
build the romance around the pragmatic nature.
Yeah, because the romantic part is men expecting women to be devoted to them because they're men and to be like forever down and blah 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 blah, and all that stuff is to at least a degree conditional on the behavior of the man. The romanticism of it is thinking that it's not conditional. It's thinking that it's the ride or die, no matter what I do, she's got my back, blah blah blah. That's not going to be the case. There is a certain amount of you need to do certain things, or else she's going to be like, this guy sucks and I can do better.
Nate said, at Pat the Plumber, indeed, Phil and HCB are the best IRL lineup. In truth, I like Ian the most.
Ian's fun.
I did see somebody ask, when is HCB going to make her triumphant return to PCC? Well, that's going to happen soon because Mary will be out of town in 2 weeks. On Monday, like in the beginning of the week?
I don't know exactly, but yes, soon.
And she's going to be filling in for at least 2 of those days. She has committed to that. So thank you, HCB. Though you're not watching this, thank you.
You don't know.
She could be.
Tacti Platty said, Brett, I seriously thought of bounty hunting.
Let's go.
You should do it. Go for it.
I love it. It's like, that's
follow your dreams, bro.
It's one of those things where it's like, it can't hurt to try, right? It would be great to at least, even if you never used it, even if you never opened up a practice, didn't start doing it, but you went and got your PI license or your bounty hunter certificate just to say you had it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm
Just a side
certified
quest.
bounty hunter. I'm a PI.
You should do that side quest.
That's such a good idea.
Gordon Shumway said, Brett, if you become a PI, you need to shave the beard, keep the mustache, and start wearing Hawaiian shirts.
I mean, and buy a Ferrari.
Yes.
Because that's where he's going.
I need to see that.
So we've been having this discussion lately because so I've been making Olivia watch the Jesse Stone made-for-TV movies with Tom Selleck. Tom Selleck, of course, played Magnum PI.
Tom Selleck's mustache played Tom Selleck.
Yes. Okay, so and the point is you watch these movies and most of the comments are a lot of people. Tom Selleck just seems to be one of those dudes who drives women of all ages crazy. Nobody knows why. Is it the mustache? What is it? Is it the unbridled masculinity? She doesn't get it. And I was like, I think he might have just had to have been part of that generation, the people who grew up with Magnum from that time period. But then when they were talking about him when he started the show Blue Bloods, Bridget Monahan said Tom Selleck brings in the lady viewers of all demographics and ages. There's just something about him, man. He's a callback to a different time of masculinity.
I mean, I just looked up some photos of him, and he's handsome. I mean, not a phenomenon, I guess.
The best and still the greatest meme that's ever existed is the one of him from Magnum where he's walking through the church and he sees the lady up on the ladder at the church and he goes, "Nuns don't work on Sunday," and he drops to the ground and shoots her. And it's a bad guy.
That's Danzatastic said, who's the guest tomorrow? Are we getting another pumpkin coffee?
Pumpkin. Well, you should order the pumpkin spice coffee from Cass Brew because Sarah told you guys to. The guest tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, will be a returning Shane Davis.
Yes.
Will be on the show. Mange Davis will be on the show. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Pat the Plumber said the left lane is for crime. Sydney Sweeney.
Have you seen that my new favorite trend is people just attributing quotes to Sydney Sweeney? There's this one talking about Rothbardian economics, and it's attributed to Sydney Sweeney. And then James Lindsay just had one that says, like, James Lindsay is awesome, Sydney Sweeney.
Mm-hmm. She's so smart, and she loves cheeseburgers.
And she loves cheeseburgers and ice cream. Whoops, I spilled some.
Nate said, I've seen you on IRL like once. Go on more often. That'd be awesome, both of you. It's definitely been a while since I've been on IRL.
Look, here's the thing about...
It's past her bedtime, though.
It legitimately is so past my bedtime.
It's not even close to past my bedtime. But the point is, like, I feel underprepared because I just don't follow the news as much as
Neither
I used
do I.
to. So I go on there and I'm like, what are my thoughts on the southern border?
Do you think that I'm reading about someone's plastic surgery?
Look, you gotta admit.
Lower stakes.
You gotta
Lower
admit.
Stakes.
I stumped you both for a second. You're like,
Hold on. It's easier to riff on pop culture than it is to riff on politics,
Half
which
the
is a
time-
daily, like, current events podcast.
Literally half the time,
Like-
Mary starts the story and then I just derail.
that is true,
And I'm
too.
just like, anyways, let's talk about this. Like, that's like every time I go on IRL, they're like, Brett's a derailer. I'm like, you say that like it's an insult. Fuck you.
Oh yeah, they really do hate derailing.
Yeah, well,
That's
I'm
a
gonna
thing in the
derail.
chat
I'm gonna take
on
this
IRL.
kind of like, if anything, like my goal would be to go on there and start hijacking. Even
Remember,
further.
the chat is only going to find something to poke at. If you mention it, they're going to keep poking at it. If you don't mention it, that you just never let that chat, because that chat is full of just like human like acid and like bad stuff. It's all
Gnashing
evil.
in teeth.
I was on some
literally
episode, and they're like, "Oh my god, this guest." I don't even remember who it was. I feel bad for them. He was whoever it was a nice person, and they said like, "Brett could have learned something." Well, I didn't. Fuck you. Sucks to suck.
That rules. That's the best.
Oh no, no, man.
I didn't.
I bet you would have loved to have learned something. Guess what? I don't want to.
King
That's
shit.
so good.
Shane H. Wilder said, I don't get not seeing things in your mind. Everything I create is literally what was in my mind. I just bring it into reality. He also said, has HCB finished Fast and Furious? That was
My guess would be no.
definitely no. Nate said, bounty hunting, the only dream you actually chase.
Okay.
I want to.
Shumway said, we need to make a lot of Fast and Furious references when HCB returns.
Leave the poor lady alone.
She's not going to understand any of them. DCNC said, hope OC appreciates the quality education she's getting.
Well, of course, I can inform everyone about the importance of Tom Selleck on American society. That's very, very important. All right, guys, before we go, would you hit the like button on this video, please, and subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already. Please and thank you. Phil, my friend, thank you so much.
Thank you. I am Phil That Remains on Twix. I'm Phil That Remains Official on Instagram. The band is All That Remains. You can follow us on Apple Music, Spotify, Pandora, Amazon Music, YouTube, the internet. And don't forget, the left lane is for crime.
You guys can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived.
Perfect. All right, guys, if you want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram and Twix at Brett Dasovic. I will derail conversations there and not learn anything. It's perfect. This show is here Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is noon Pacific. We are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify if you would prefer to listen rather than watch. If you want to follow the show on social media, we are on Twix at popculture_show, Facebook, and not TikTok because we were banned at Pop Culture Crisis, and on Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. Guys, we got one more here from Nate. Says, love the show so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nate, thank you for watching.
Thanks for watching.
All right, guys, we will be back with another episode tomorrow. We'll see you then.
Bye.
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 One more from Gordon Shumway. Says, Brett, how about every time HCB says something positive, just say, because it's all about family. We can do that. See you tomorrow, guys.